The Brandon Peters Show may contain explicit language and detailed plot points. For more information on the show, stay tuned to the end of the episode. And now, here he is, Brandon.
All right. Hello and welcome back to the Brandon Peters Show for a special episode here today discussing the Dave Matthews Band album Stand Up, turning 20 years old. And joining me for this discussion, I'm honored to have from the Space Between podcast. Her comments tonight will be out of my hands, Renae Lipsmeyer.
What's up, guys? Thank you so much, Brandon, for having me on the show. When it comes to talking about Dave Matthews Band, I'm your girl. Like, I'm in. I'm ready to do the homework. And I loved when you approached me and was like, I want to talk about stand up, because I beg people all the time, like, give me homework. Teach me something. And that sounds so weird, but like there is so much information when it comes to this band that's been making music for over 34 years. And so to have someone say, I want you to specifically look at this and kind of figure it all out and imagine, what was going on at that time, then I'm just down. So I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to talk about Dave as always, and we're gonna have a good time.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Which we will touch on that song this evening. Yeah. So it's funny. A few of my guests have called me the homework podcast before, so there you go.
Yes,
that's fun. But
I'm ready. It's the only school I want to go to. I always say I want to get my PhD in DMB.
There you go. All right. Well, you and I tried to connect last year, do something, didn't pan out, but I'm very happy that was here again. It was going to be part of the summer 2004 at 20, looking back at the 2004 tour for the band, but I didn't want to give up, and here we are with Stand Up's 20th birthday, which we'll touch a bit on that 2004 tour leading into this one. So I think it's the better mesh of the worlds. Even though this doesn't fit into my summer of 2015 at 10 series, I still want to talk DMB during the summer tour, during this gorge break that always I watch. Do you watch the couch tour? Your couch tour?
I do, as much as I can.
I'm always weird around my family because I'm like, I can tell when like a new song's starting. I'm like, come on. Okay, it's that one. Okay. I hear the start of it if I'm busy or something. It's better than watching just the songs pop up back in the old day. But
right. And I'll have to admit, it's a little bit hard because they're on the West Coast and I am on the other side of the country. So we're starting so late. But you know what? It's like fan dedication. You just gotta watch when they're playing.
Right. Yes, there it is. So before we get into our discussion here, I want you to tell people about your podcast, which I very much like. It's got a very unique and different angle compared to just like most, even most band podcasts or things like that. So tell us about Space Between podcast.
Yeah. So the Space Between podcast was something that honestly happened to me. This was never a plan. It wasn't a goal to have a podcast. But in let's see, what year was it? 2022. We're just coming out of COVID. I've been a nurse for 15 years. So just, there was some heaviness in the air in those years. And it got to me. It got to me just like COVID got to a lot of people. We couldn't see the people we love. We saw a lot of death. We saw a lot. And so I just got in a place where I was told, hey, you need a creative outlet and you need to find something that's for you, something you enjoy doing, and something that just, you can do alone. And so while most people might think, oh, I'm going to start sewing or crocheting or playing golf or whatever that is, I had a friend that just happened to be doing a podcast. And so I was like, what are you doing? Like, how, because I didn't really listen to podcasts, aware of them, but didn't really listen to them. And so she was like, man, you can say whatever you want. You can talk about whatever you want. And I was like, wow, that actually might be really cool, because I can just talk about Dave Matthews Band because that was already decided when he said, "What makes you happy?" I was like, well, beyond my family and, my friends and all of those things, uh, Dave Matthews Band, but specifically like the friends I've made and how that just all that story was something that I really wanted to talk about. And so I started it in November of 2022. I had no clue. I had no clue what I was doing. I had been a nurse for 15 years and just was like, I'm about to learn something. I just love learning. And so I figured it out, but I figured it out very slowly because if you listen to the first or second season, I mean, I'm feeling my way through it. I'm trying to figure out how to do this. Um, but I didn't always get it right. But what I did find out, and this was totally unexpected because again, I was doing this podcast for me, and I said from the beginning, if no one listens to this, I'm okay with that because this is what I need to like get some shit out, right? I just needed to get some shit out, and this was going to make me happy. And so this was the route I was going. But what happened was I started this and, I had a fan on every episode, a different fan on every episode that just talked about their journey, how they heard about this band, why they're still listening to it, how they found it, all the things in between, because there's so many different types of fans of Dave Matthews Band, and only because they're a band that's been making music for 34 years. And so age is not on my side to have been following them for that long. And there's a lot of people with that same story that, just haven't been old enough, long enough to really absorb everything. But this podcast has just reached so many people, and so many people have just been just so brave and so vulnerable to share how this music has made such a big impact in their life, and that how the community around this band has become like an actual family for so many people, and how those people and this music have gotten people through some terrible shit because we all have it, right? We all have this terrible shit, but this music is something that's helping us get through it. And that is a story that I was like not expecting, but also realized at that moment, no one's documenting this. No one's talking about the fans, which it does take fans to give a band the longevity of 34 years. And so I just felt like there was a story that wasn't being written. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to try to get every single person that loves this band on the show to document this time, because in 100 years from now, when we're all gone, the band is gone, someone's going to find this music and they're going to dig into it in whatever way they dig into it. Who knows what the internet will be like in 100 years, or if it's something new, but they're going to look for information. And so it's so important that we document this time from the fan standpoint and what this band has done. They've not only just made music, they've just become such a resource for hope and love and support, and created a community around them that is not found easily. I think there's a couple of bands in history that have had that, but less than five. And so this is something that I feel strongly needs to be documented. And I've just had an absolute pleasure being able to do this. I've almost been doing it for 3 years, almost at 200 episodes. And that's only because people continue to come forward to share their journey, because they do see the importance of this once they understand what I'm doing. They're like, yeah, when I'm 85, this is going to be really awesome to listen to, because we're going to need these fun stories from time to time. And the things people have shared again I'm just so grateful. And it's made me really learn so much because, again, I'm not old enough to have been there for so much of it. And so with people coming on the show, sharing their journeys that did start in 92, 93, in the early 2000s, all 3 decades, they've just been able to give me so much insight on what their experience was. And in turn, that's really educated me. And I just, I can't see me stopping anytime soon.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, it's great. And it's therapeutic for them.
Yes.
And like, I have a lot of influential people I've had come across this podcast in the past and stuff, and Justin Beam's one of them, and he always like he'll tell you like you do this thing and you're like, I'm just hitting record or whatever, but like he's like, no, you're making history, you're making archives. Like people could find this years from now, and then like it may have been like a dud episode for you years ago. Someone finds it and it changes that, like stuff like that. And
That's
this is
right.
an archive, and this is giving the people a memento of this like experience that they have and stuff.
Yeah.
And I love that like the fan experience too. The band has stories. The band will tell stories. They'll do interviews, stuff like that. But there's these like between the cracks things that don't get documented that happen that the fan actually has the key to like unlock this story and stuff. I've been working on a Doctor Who documentary over the past year and stuff, which we've been part of it is getting the fans and their stories are adding entertainment to certain actors and stuff that the actors aren't going to give in an interview and stuff like that, which
Right.
DMB, you have fan stories too about shows, about experience, or this went down, or I was at the crazy Hartford riot back in 19 or was it 98 or something like that. So like DMB is only on stage seeing that. You could find somebody that was actually in the mix for that tells
Oh,
what was
absolutely.
there. So so yeah, like that's very important what you're doing. If people are like, oh, it's just fans, like no, fans hold the key to stuff.
Mhm.
And a lot of them have an interesting tale. A lot have been around for a long time doing things. Like, yeah, it's pretty awesome. And you've had
It's
like
just a different perspective, just a
yeah,
different perspective.
and you've had the Almanac guys on there too, right? I believe. Yeah.
Yes,
So,
yes. And they run an ad through every episode because I just enjoy the history part. And I
hmm
feel like there are other fans that really do enjoy getting a daily dose of D&B history.
hmm
How cool to reflect back on all the things they've done and how it's changed. And so I'm excited to talk to you. And
hmm
because the stand-up album
yeah,
it's a really important album, whether you like it or not, that doesn't matter. The history before and after it is what matters. And you can
right.
really see how it shaped the band to be eventually what they are now.
Yeah. So before we get into that, one more thing. What was your first show?
Yes, okay.
Okay.
Very easy. It was just 10 years ago
10 years?
because
Okay.
so 2015 in
All right.
Rogers, Arkansas, which is where I
Oh, okay.
live.
That was
Yeah,
one of the
so
very few American Baby plays, which we'll talk about, right?
yes. So,
Or was it?
life is
Wait.
just
Yeah. Okay.
I
Sorry.
can't remember.
Oh wait, was it? That might
Life
have been 2014. Sorry, that was the 2014 show. Sorry.
Gotcha.
Anyway.
Life's just been crazy. It's been all good things, but I really wanted to be a wife and a mother just as soon as I got out of college,
hmm
and I did that, and I soaked all of that up, and I'm so thankful for every second of that. But in doing that, that also kind of disabled me from really getting into a lot of other things. My life, my hobby, my everything was being a mom and investing in these children. And so I I didn't have the ability to travel as so many people do. And so I kind of had to just wait until they came to me, which
hmm
thank God it finally happened. And they had played in Arkansas in general before I saw them, but I live in Northwest Arkansas. They had played in Little Rock previously. I never went to those because that's a drive for me. So if they show up in your city, though,
hmm
why would you not go? So I go 2015. It's amazing. They came back to Arkansas in 2018 and of course went again. And then they just most recently came in 2023.
Okay.
And of course I was there for that. So just three times here in Northwest Arkansas. But I'm telling you, after the second show in Arkansas, that's when I was like, I pulled the plug and was like, okay, we're about to travel to see this band because they're not coming here often enough, right? And
hmm
so that's when it all began. And I'm in in 10 years, I've done 75 shows. And
Oh shoot,
so
I just hit
I
80, and
yay!
I've been going for 19 years. So
I took a little life detour in 2023 when I was trying
okay.
to find myself, and I went to 24 shows in 2023.
Ooh. Okay, well, that's at least a good year to check them out. That
It was a great year, but the strain on my family, I don't know if it was worth it or not because I was gone, just
yeah.
off the radar.
You
And so,
caught
but I
up to
enjoy it.
everybody else. You were like, I'm going to
I
use this year to
did.
get a chunk. That's funny.
I did.
So
I did got my history lesson.
So yeah, so for me it was like my third show that like hooked me.
Yeah.
It was the Hollywood Bowl Night 2 2007 where John Mayer came out in 41. They had the Marleys. So yeah, it took that third show to like really hook me. I was into it, but like that third show was
Yeah.
like it became obsessive. So okay, so you answered me how many shows. Do you have a favorite venue you like to go to of any of
I
them?
mean, my favorite is my home venue because it's 10
Okay.
minutes from my house.
All
I
right, there
fucking
you go.
love that.
All right.
Also, it's very small. It only holds
Not gonna
10,000
start
people.
not gonna start venue wars here. I get it. I get it. Gotcha.
It's not the best venue,
Yeah.
but in my world, it's the most convenient and it's a small venue. And it feels really different when you're in a small town and the band is in your small
Right.
town. It's just different. It's
Yeah.
just different. But then we just went we just went right on in from Arkansas all the way to Hollywood Bowl. I mean, we
There you
just
go.
went boom. We took off, and our goal is really to try to go to every venue, and that's really what I was trying to do in 2023. I didn't get all of them, of
Yeah.
course, but favorite venue right now that I've been to, they're all my favorite in very different ways. But I do have to mention, I like Jones Beach a lot. Now, this
Okay.
is coming from a girl in Arkansas who
All
doesn't
right.
have anything but lakes and rivers. So when you can sit and watch your favorite band with your favorite people and also see like boats out in
That
the
is a cool
water,
looking place. Yeah.
I'm down for that. It was
Hmm.
so cool. And the tailgating there was nothing I had ever experienced. People in the Northeast like to feed people. And there was like not just hamburgers and hot dogs, but like, hey, I made this like lasagna. It's fresh out of the oven. You want to come? I was like, fuck yes.
All
Yes,
right.
yes, yes.
All
It was
right.
great. It
Okay.
was so great. So, I mean, I don't know. That was a lot of fun, but they're all very different and very beautiful. Of course, I've been to all the big ones,
Okay.
the meccas, if you will say. And so those
See,
were all fabulous,
I'm a
just like
gorge
most.
person. I've been the gorge twice. That's
Yeah.
like I can't believe that every time you enter that place, you're still like in awe. Every time you
It
enter,
is.
you just went
Yeah.
the day before. You went 2 days in a row, and you're the third day. You're like, wow. Like
It
when you
hits
just walk,
different.
and it's just it. That is a place where it's like anything they play there, it's just like the coolest thing because you're just like
It
you're in
is.
this vibe. Everybody came there for that. Everybody's hardcore, like, and it's cool. I mean, I've heard louder crowds in the gorge and stuff, bigger energy, but like I just like that vibe. And my friend buys me
Yeah.
VIP parking when I go there, so
Hell
I'm like right
yeah.
by the door. But I want to get back there again. I've done SPAC, I've done Alpine, done Charlottesville. I said the bowl. Like I've been a lot of places all over the country, but like Gorge, just that's the one that just knocks my socks off. I've been to Alpine plenty. I've only been to SPAC once, but that place delivered upon entry. I will say that that was cool.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
but
So many great venues, but and so many great more to go see. I'm excited about, just what the future holds.
yeah. Okay, so just one more grilling question. One more like favorite show. Do you have one?
Why do
Like
you
the
ask me
one
this?
that you're like, that's the one I
Okay.
always mentally go back. You might change it
Absolutely.
back and forth because like I'm pretty sure my favorite show is the one that hooked me, the Hollywood Bowl 2007, October 2nd, with number 34 and Dreams to Real and all that. But like, yeah, what any for you?
Yeah, I mean, my go-to, like if someone says, I need a song, just give me one off the top of my head. Now, if I thought about this for 30 minutes, of course I could come up with, but like my go-to every single time, just off the top of my brain, is the Live at Wrigley Field album. It's so
Oh,
fucking good.
were
It's
you at?
so
Well,
fucking
I
good.
meant
No,
the show
I
you
wasn't
went
there.
to. I meant show you
Oh,
went to. You're.
God. Oh
I was
man.
trying to narrow it down to just your experience, not.
Okay, I got a
I
pretty
was
good
at
one. I got a
Wrigley.
pretty good
I was
one.
there. I was at
That was
Wrigley.
so good, man. I listened to that specifically. You might die trying the last 3 minutes.
That's a good die trying.
Jesus.
That we'll talk about that.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Woo.
that die trying is good.
Best show I've ever been to. Well, maybe the most surprising was Austin 2022. They opened the tour that year there in
Hmm.
Texas and did a couple of Texas stops in
Yeah.
2022. But they come out of the gate with shotgun, break for it, break free. I mean,
Hmm.
they're throwing out the shit up front
Yeah.
that you never thought was going to happen. And I just remember standing there going, I don't even know that what just happened here. And so yeah, that one always sticks out. There's been many more. They're all great
Okay.
to me. I've never had a bad show, but that one really stands out.
Gotcha. Okay. Oh, okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
The studio that we've built over the last few years, this recording paradise.
The studio we love being at, love working at. I think it just really made us feel homey.
So I'm here, like, listeners might be like, Brandon, why celebrate stand up? That's usually at the bottom of people's rankings. Why not the 25th anniversary of the Summer 2000 tour? But I was like, I think stand up is more discussion worthy, a lot more fun discussion than that. There's been a lot said about the Summer 2000, and it'll be a lot of the same things said. But my first show was in 2006, and the new album at the time when I started going to shows was Stand Up. It had been out for a year, but I went in 2006. Chula Vista, California, 2000. I lived in Los Angeles at the time, and my friend Torrance, who I still go to shows with to this day, called me up and was like, "You want to go to the DMB show in San Diego this weekend?" And I was like, I guess I've been meaning to check them out. And I went. Had Raven at my first show. If I had it all at my first show. Loving Wings at my first show. Butterfly at my first show. Like, it's cool. Robert Randolph on Two Step at my first show. Yeah, good
But
stuff.
you didn't even know. You didn't even know it was happening.
I did. I always tell people, I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't pee during Seek Up. I didn't know what it was.
Right.
I wouldn't pee at Seek Up. Like,
Yeah.
I will admit that. And things, but they played a lot of Crash at that. So yeah, it was the new album at the time. And I think it's just fascinating we're here again because this is another crossroads of DMB. This is so while DMB has a release in 2001, they have Everyday come out.
Yeah.
2002, they have Busted Stuff. 2003, there's Some Devil. 04 skips over. Here's 05. But really, this is the first new album since Everyday, technically, because Busted Stuff was, oh crap, the Lily White sessions leaked. People wanted these songs badly. We'll just go re-record them. And they added 2 newbies on there. Some Devil was a solo project. They weren't playing those songs at DMB shows. You might get a Gravedigger solo at that time. So really, this is their first new album in 4 years. And like every day before it, they were coming into the studio with new songs that people genuinely liked and felt they were going back to that older sound. And only one of them shows up on the album. So yeah, summer 2004, they come into the studio. What could be, if you were a fan at the time, they're going in the studio. Okay, what could be on this album? They just went through a tour where they debuted Crazy Easy, Hello Again, Sugar Will, Joyride. Good Time debuted Dave and Friends, but was plenty present on the 04 tour, usually coming out of Rhyme and Reason. And then there was an intro called Gas Into the Fire, which got played, but it got played once in front of What Would You Say, and then teased a lot throughout the tour. Loving Wings is a song that had been around since 2002 and wasn't on an album, so that could have been there. And then Prelude to Grace showed up one time randomly in 04. So was it back on their brain? Could that develop into something? So that's what came in. What are your thoughts?
I think that was I think just 2004 is interesting to talk about because that's right before 2005. And so like what was going on? Because there was so much change within the band. Busted Stuff, everyone was like, okay, but also it was good because they really did kind of, I guess,
they
simplify the songs.
Yeah.
They simplified those songs that were on Lily White Sessions and they threw it on Busted Stuff. And so, it just creates all this weirdness. Like I'm sure for the band, they were like, well, fuck, because they weren't really expecting all of that. And it really threw a curveball. And then all of a sudden after that, Dave does his own thing and does this solo album. And I've heard so many people say that when that happened, they were nervous that the band was kind of done, that
Bonds
he was moving on
pissed.
to do his own thing.
Bonds was pissed. I know that.
So yeah, 2004, after Some Devil, they were testing out all those songs like on the road to see like what's going on. And so that's kind of what was in their head. But late 2004, guess who walks in the door and changes everything?
Yeah. Mr.
Mark Batson.
Yeah.
Mark Batson. Yeah. And if you don't know a lot about him, I think he's an amazing man. He really did a lot of things for the band that had not done before, such as just like the marketing campaign that they did for stand up once
Hmm.
Mark entered the scene. Like all the things that they were doing to push the album, even before it came out, was not something that necessarily happened before this. But Mark was super smart. He co-wrote every single song that, except for there's one that he didn't co-write. It doesn't matter. There's only one song that he didn't co-write. And he also played instruments in the recordings. So
Hmm.
he was all in DMB. He was all in. And I think that it changed a lot, but I think it was in the right direction. And knowing what we know now, we can just see it all kind of working out, like the changes from every day all the way through to stand up. You can just see now that we're in the future, you can see what was happening. And I think it's really cool to think back and go, try to imagine like, why was there so much change? Why was there so much? I think it was change because they weren't exactly for sure what direction they were going in. Maybe they kind of knew, like, kind of the direction, but they just hadn't hit it yet. And I think they kind of found themselves in the stand-up album. And I really dare anyone to, and you included,
Oh,
to say that that wasn't one of the albums that just made this band what it is now, because people are chasing these songs that are on this album, the
yeah.
one we're talking about, 2005. And so for you to say it's not good and then also say you're chasing it, I'm like, okay, well, those are two very different extremes. I mean,
So
think about now, if any of this happened, we would fucking lose our minds.
So my thing is like I differentiate a lot of, and when we go through this discussion, just so you can like, I differentiate a lot of stand up from the album itself, the studio recordings, and then what those songs became, because I think those are
Mhm.
two completely different
No, they are.
stories on where
Yeah.
I go with stand up. Um, I like Batson came in. They wanted to add. They're trying to evolve their sound, and if you don't evolve
Right.
your sound, you don't last long. Like that's
Right.
every band. Like let's look at the Beatles. Like Beatlemania
Yes.
was just a small portion. They started getting more interesting. They did Rubber Soul. They did Revolt. They evolved, and I'm sure there's people, the Beatlemania people, that are like, oh, they're changing. I don't like them. I'm out. That happens with everything. Every Day was not a liked album genuinely
Right.
that's called that, but you look now, people like those, like people stayed, they like those songs. Like I like Every Day, that album.
I mean, the space
um
between is on the Everyday album, so
yeah. um yeah, so right is one of my favorite things to
so
get
good.
live. At Fool to
Yes.
Think, love that one
Yes.
live, like other than,
Hmm.
so like you gotta like let it, some of these that don't hit you right in the way, like let them marinate for a while, let them
For
grow,
sure.
see what happens.
Yes.
And
So important.
I get the disappointment of some of these '04 songs because it's a good roster of tunes, but Crazy
Mm.
Easy fell out of
Mm.
favor before that tour was over. It doesn't even show up on the Vote for a Change tour in the fall, so I doubt they even recorded it with Batson. Like I have a feeling that one didn't happen with Batson.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Maybe
because
that's the
people might be
one.
like, maybe like I don't even know, like there's Gas into the Fire, when that one though, that
Oh.
it comes back when like skip to 2018, post Come Tomorrow, when the Batson sessions leak, the one that they went in '06 and '07 with him, and then obviously abandoned those for Big Whiskey. Oh, Gas in the Fire. There's a song called Drive Me Away. It's Gas into the Fire evolved into a song. So that one stuck somewhere. And I'd love to talk to Mark Batson to be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
are any of those Batson session songs ones from the stand up sessions that you just carried over and did that? Because I wonder, because they did a lot of songs for this, because Batson was all like, what are you screwing around with? Like, I'm just warming up. That's a song. That was his
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
song. That's a song. And that kind of, I feel like that helped DMB both get comfortable working together in a studio again, but also didn't challenge them much too. So like there's a push and pull, because we like them being happy, being together, collaborating. But then it's like my thing with Stand Up as the album, I don't think there's plenty of tunes on here I don't think sound finished. That's just
Yeah.
that's my thing. But I think some of them evolved into better things in the live settings, but some of this sounds demo-y and like, yeah. So we'll get into
I
that.
agree.
We'll
And
get
that
into
is
that. But
two very separate sides of it, right? Like the
yeah.
quality, the how it was finished, and then like what
I'm
it
an
has evolved
audio,
into.
like in college and stuff, I had to work like in my like audio stuff. I had like produced a song. I had to produce a couple like demo tracks for people and stuff. And so I get like kind of nerdy with stuff and like the Steve Lillywhite stuff. Yes, it's as magical as we talk about. There's different producers that do different things. Um, every day is a very well produced album in a different way that I don't think people
Hmm.
appreciate. And that guy, Glenn Ballard, made one of the best albums in the 90s of Jagged Little Pill. The guy knows what he's doing. Like that's
Yes, he
I know
does.
everybody says he ruined Dave with his songwriting, but they were under the gun to get an album out and look what
Yeah.
they made in a week. Like I mean, come on. Like sorry. But
Wow.
and then Busted Stuff was just basically a live album. That's I mean, played in the studio. Some Devil's cool album, very different. And then this thing is like it's a different producer. But I think
Hmm.
Mark and them grow together because I think the next stuff they were working on was maybe going to be even better than this. The with Idea You, Shotgun, Break Free. I was like, that's some stuff that's killer stuff that people loved. Another group of songs that got abandoned before the next album came. But and then they go back to him. They've gone back to him multiple times. Like Monsters. Apparently Dave and him recorded that in 2015. And it doesn't show up till 2023 on an album.
Yeah.
Come Tomorrow's got like Come On, which we're like, oh, okay. And there's like, oh, that's really not new. That's from
Right.
'06. So
Right.
they go back to him plenty. But I may not agree with like production choices of his, but they are what they are. They,
Yeah.
and with DMB, would you rather the album version underwhelm? But man, that's awesome live because that's what we like. We like the live stuff. So I would prefer
Yes.
the
It's a
latter.
preference.
I
Yeah.
yeah. So it's the weird thing. So the stand up. So yeah, going back to um the behind the scenes videos, revisiting them, like,
Yes.
oh yeah, he encouraged them to play other instruments on this album. Like that hadn't happened before. You got Stefan on an electric guitar, you got
Right.
Dave doing piano, you got someone else doing drums and stuff. So they're just screwing around, coming up with they're trying to
New sounds.
I think in
Yeah.
stand up they're trying to find a new sound.
Yeah. I believe
So
so.
and I think this begins Dave's. He gets into this like he finds a southern rocky groove that he goes into for a few years during this because there are some songs, and then later we get stuff like 27, Cornbread, Alligator. Like he starts getting this little southern rock period at
I
this.
know. It's like, where's
Right.
that Southern accent coming from? I
Yeah,
know you're from Virginia and, well,
right.
you're from a lot of places,
He's
Dave,
from
but Southern is
South
not one of
Africa.
them.
The South Africa talk like this. Is that what
I mean,
they? Yeah.
I mean, he's just so country, and I'm like, where's it coming from?
So yeah, the one thing I don't like about Batson's production out here is there's a couple of there's looping a lot that I'm not big
Hmm.
on, and
Yeah.
replacing Carter with drum machines.
Hmm. Yeah.
Not the biggest fan of that stuff. And then Dave's voice is really like raspy, and I haven't listened to this album in a long time. Listened to mostly live stuff, and just hearing his voice on this was like, whoo, bud, put the cigarettes down,
Yeah.
man. Like that's probably what he was going for on here, but it was
Yeah.
just surprising to me because I'm like, wow, you haven't sounded. And I remember he had a rough stretch there in like '06 and '07, but he quit smoking during that time too. So, and his voice is really, thanks to Rob, his voice is skyrocketed since he's been
Oh my
working with
God,
that guy. Yeah.
so good, so good. I think this album, like you said, it was, or at least it seems like it was such a time of change where they were just kind of doing all the things you said, like let's change some instruments, let's do something different, let's, hey, take Carter out and let's do this machine and let's try all these things. And while that's so beautiful, because I know the future, if they had a they weren't able to successfully really change their sound because that's the last album that Leroy was on. And
Mm-hmm.
so from then on, after stand up, their sound was just different. Now, was that
Mm-hmm.
the sound that they figured out during the recording of stand up? I don't think so,
No.
because everything would have been, it was so different. It
Mm-hmm.
just was so different. And so, they were throwing some curveballs after that. And so that just would be an interesting question to ask them is, what was in your mindset? Like, what was this? Were you just trying to find something different? Did you have something in mind? What was everyone's input in the room? Like, what did Leroy say? Was Carter cool with all the drum change? Like, how was everybody feeling about this? Was it a positive thing? Was it something that you were just being made to do? What was it? Did you find the sound you were looking for? Because we all know that it changed shortly after.
Yeah, and I mean, on the Road to Big Whiskey doc, Dave talks about this being a misfire, like trying to find something. He talks about every day and this not quite hitting where he wanted to, which I don't know. That interview also sounds like he's fan speaking, like where he knows what fans say about it, so he's going to agree with them to get. And they were really high in Big Whiskey, but Big Whiskey was a sound they wanted to find. They were really happy with that, but following this album on the 06 and 07 tour-ish, they were looking, I found this out, like they were looking to add an electric guitarist to the lineup, and that's why you saw a lot of Eric Krasno guesting and Robert Randolph guesting. Wow. And then Robert Randolph even goes in the studio with them for the stand-up follow-up with Batson that gets abandoned, but then Tim Reynolds finally said yes, so that was what happened.
Thank you, Tim.
So that's what happened. But they were looking to add an electric guitar to the live set, and like Eric Krasno didn't know it, Randolph didn't know it, but they were like secretly auditioning to be. I don't know that Robert Randolph would have left his gig to join DMB, but who knows? But Krasno possibly. But I know like they were, and there's some other guitarists that show up during that time, but they were looking to add one during that time. But so that may be something they felt after when trying to play the stand-up songs live, maybe they needed that. That happened. One other thing here before we're going to go song by song here in the way we do this. So this was sold to us in the marketing and talking about this was their political album. And to some degree it's a flimsy, very flimsy political album if he wants to do that. And there's a choice made that just baffles me that we'll get into later on when we go to the song discussions. I'm just like, okay, all right, your political album, but it's there, but it's not. It's kind of like, okay, it's no more than any other one would have been. But
yeah.
When we get together, beautiful things happen. That brings us back.
We're all brothers, we're all cousins, we're in this together, and when you get to the studio, it's just, I mean, it's magical.
We make beautiful things together consistently. That's what I think. And we're getting better at it. Holy moly. What's the chances?
So yeah, let's start out.
Let's
track to track.
I'm so excited.
We're gonna open with the open. We're gonna do the opener. We're gonna song by song. This is, I think, the most tracks on an album too, like legit song tracks for any of them. Though it's not their longest album, I don't think, but it is a lot of tracks. Which I always worry about a lot of tracks, meaning like I don't think you had much here and you just tried to give us more. Like Radiohead, "Hail to the Thief." Not a big fan of that album, and that was like 15 tracks. And I'm like, yeah, I think you guys just like couldn't find cohesion. Just like, here's a lot of Come Tomorrow, same thing. That one ends up having a lot of tracks, and that's a whole weird story to talk about. That I think DMB was trying to pull the rug out from under people and sell that as like brand new stuff. And I was like, no, you guys got someone called time on you on putting a new album out, and you cobbled together stuff. That's my
all these things we need to know, right?
Yeah, I want to know. So there's a lot. I know we have these Batson sessions, but there's a lost album they were doing with Rob Cavallo, the producer of Big Whiskey, that I want to hear. The original, where Samurai Cop and Here On Out, and again we're going before. I want to know that, because Grace Potter recorded vocals for that album. We never saw it, so I want to know what they were working on, even if it has Plastic Girl on it. I want to hear whatever lost Rob Cavallo album there is.
Yes, absolutely. I want to hear everythking they've ever done.
Right. Yeah. Of course we do. Did you hear? Did you get a copy of the Mac Head, the Holy Grail?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Make sure.
And that was really interesting. I crave, and this is a weird craving, but it's because I know a lot
Hmm.
about this song and or about this band, and I don't think there's a song that you can play for me that I don't know. And so that puts me in a weird position because I crave to hear something that I don't know, that is
Hmm.
going to open my ears and that I'm just going to have to process for a little bit because, it's that beginning relationship with the song, kind of like what you said. Sometimes you need to marinate
Yeah.
in it. And I don't feel like there's well, there's so much. I mean, I can break down all the songs and that takes forever, but I really just want to hear something new. I
Well,
think that's always the thing.
Machead was like the holy grail, and I was like, well, what do I do with my life now? I heard
Right.
Machead. I heard it for
I
about so many
know.
years. I could never find it in trading. Like, you know what ticked me? It didn't take. I'm glad it was out there for people, but I had the Granny Studio cut for the longest time before they released it on the under the table. That was like my trading chip. I was like, I have the Granny Studio. What can you get me? I got IEMs and stuff that way. Like, I got all sorts of stuff because I had that Granny Studio track that I lucked into one trader. I had something they wanted. They offered me that, and I'm like, bullshit. And it was like legit a studio cut. And then I'm like, oh, it sounds like Dead and Hollow. That's why they cut it from the album. It's more of a live song because it needs the crowd.
Right.
But then they, under the table anniversary, they released it, and I was like, oh, now I can't trade. There's like that was my golden trading chip that I had. So,
Right. I'm so
but
glad that I was able to get that and listen to it because it was one of those moments of, oh, I've never
mhm.
heard this before. And that doesn't happen often.
I do have some stuff from Stand Up that is on the trader front that I don't think is available too much, but I have an extended cut of Hello Again from
Yeah.
them recording. Then there was another thing I had. What it was with it? I think it's just like some sort of it's like a little clip of like a cut jam on Stand Up. It says Stand Up Jam, and it's like 35 seconds. I don't think it's from the song. I think it's just from the studio thing. But I had those.
I can do it 35 seconds. I can loop it myself and it'd be a 5-minute song.
There you go. Okay, so we're opening up with Dream Girl. Um, this one ended up being the second single from the album. Music video, famously featuring Julia Roberts.
Yes.
Um, and it became super rare after 2007. They would do this one live with like a huge intro of yeah yeahs, which
Hmm.
annoyed the message board bro type. They were like,
No,
yep,
really?
yeah, they didn't
Oh,
like
no,
those.
I love it. My favorite version is Red Rocks, where he
Yeah.
just has that slow opening. I mean, it's just to
Hmm.
me, it's everything. I love
Yeah.
it.
So can I'm gonna admit something here, and I'm never shy about this. Like, so if you talk to me, the cheesy pop ballads, I'm a fan of. Like, I don't mind them. They don't bug me. Like Dream Girl, I like Dream Girl. Like Crash Into Me, Space Between, Where Are You Going, You and Me. Like, those don't bug me. Not one bit. I get their purpose at a show. I enjoy the sing along. Like, they're short. They get me. Don't, and I know
Yeah.
that's not cool for the white dude with the beard to say, but they don't bug me. And I love watching, chatting with people, and watching the bros melt down when that happens. And I'm just like, dude, you're really getting mad about this little cheesy love song that people came here to see. Like, it's you and me, like it's funny. It just cracks me up.
I could
But they
say
don't
so
bug
many
me.
things, but I won't.
But they don't bug me. They don't, and this one does not bug me. I know people always mock the original lyric, the opening lyric, "Dig a hole away, China," unless of course they're dig my. Okay, but there's more to the song after. There's a lot more that come. That's like a little okay. Sure, he didn't open it to your expectations, but what about the rest of it? I love the guitar riff on this one. I think
Mhm.
Leroy is great on the back end. Like,
Yes.
it's a fun song. It works. I don't understand why he did. I mean, I think it's been gone so long the crowds don't instantly react to it anymore because they're unfamiliar with it. So I
Right,
listen I
right.
listen to tapes. It gets a dead reaction a lot, but that's because it went away for so long. But I don't mind this one. This is one of my it's funny. My wife has three big time chaser songs. Just this one, Loving Wings and Long Black Veil. She's never seen them. I've seen all three, and like she gets mad because they never play them. And like, yeah, So I'm always rooting for her to get Dream Girl. So if you're at a show with me,
Yes.
sorry, I'm rooting for Dream Girl because I'd love her to see it.
Absolutely.
So
I wanted it 2024. I followed the band, did the opener in Tampa, went to West Palm Beach. So I did the first 3 shows of the tour, but I needed to get back home so that I could do the Texas leg.
yeah.
Wouldn't you know, night 4, they pull out Dream Girl. I was
Yep.
like, fuck, y'all.
Yeah. Well, he was doing the solo E1s over in
And
the UK, and I was like, oh, that's going to be
that's
really
right.
cool this summer.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And he always plays Dream Girl in the UK. Have you noticed that?
I did not.
Dave and Tim 2017 tour. It was in rotation. He comes to the US.
Wow.
He doesn't play it. It's like, okay, what?
We love it
what?
too.
Yeah, like we take it, like, and give one of your ballads, your modern ballads you've been playing a break and switch it with Dream Girl. Like
Yeah.
like, why not? Like I don't mind Dream Girl. I saw it at my second show and have never seen it again. If I heard it
Wow.
if I heard it tomorrow, it would be my second, or no, it would be my biggest personal liberation of all time, going by the almanac things, because it would kill everything else, because it was my second show, 2007. It's been a long time. Haven't seen it
Yeah.
since. So
Just got to keep chasing them.
and Julia Roberts was at that show. It was at the Hollywood Bowl, night 1. She was there.
No way.
And then like
No
I was
way.
in a box, and then 2 or 3 boxes down was like Nicole Richie and the dude from Good Charlotte.
Awesome.
Apparently they like DMB. It's crazy.
I mean, famous people like Dave too.
One of the craziest famous. So I was at Staples Center the night Leroy died.
Mm.
The second night, the weirdest thing, sitting like 4 seats down from me was Slash from Guns N' Roses. And I was like, what the hell? Like, this is crazy. It wasn't even like you'd think he got better seats. But
Right?
we're sitting there. We were by the mixing board. We're close to that, so maybe that's where he wanted to be. And he got
Yeah.
up in the middle of the show and started walking out. And I was like, oh, he's going to guest tonight. No, he came back about 10 minutes later.
Oh, thank God. I was like, he hated it.
But I was like, no, I thought he was going to leave and go guest on the stage.
Oh,
And I was like,
gotcha.
oh, is he going to go? And no, he was just there to watch some DMB.
That would have been interesting, I have to say.
Yeah.
Surprising and
Yeah.
interesting. But I love that he and most artists do, when you
Mm-hmm.
ask them what do they listen to, it's usually something very far opposite of what
Right.
they create themselves,
Yeah.
Like it's a fact that the members of Dave Matthews Band really do go for like metal. Like they
Yeah.
fucking love it. And so it's just so far from like what they do, but just goes to prove you can love a lot of different types of
Dave's a big Outkast fan. Loves Outkast.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and it's like,
Yes.
wow, okay.
Yes.
So yeah, Dream Girl. So have you seen Dream Girl before?
Have I seen the video?
No, the in
Oh,
concert.
live?
Yeah.
Never.
Oh,
Never.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
heard it, and that was, that's good enough. I would love to see it live,
Yeah.
but, I'm happy
Okay.
with whatever.
Okay. Yeah. So Dream Girl, yeah, and I think production wise, this is one of the best produced tracks on the album. It sounds complete. It sounds full. You hear the band members. Perfect. I had no complaints about the production on this one.
No.
Next, we have Old Dirt Hill. Bring that beat back.
Bring that beat back.
A lot of parentheses songs on this album. The word bring that beat back is in parentheses on this one. For me, this was a hideous studio track when I first listened to the album. I did not like this. It was like this boy band thing going on with the bring that beat. Didn't like, and I can't catch. I was like, what is this? I guess the kids would say cringe would be my feelings. However, like I was telling you, I heard Dave and Tim Radio City, and I was like, this is a totally different song. Like
They
this,
slowed it down, man.
this is awesome. What is like I like, and they
Yes.
had the If I Was a Boy outro to it. And then in 2008, they restructured that thing live, and I was like, I like this. This is
Oh,
awesome.
yeah.
And it had the Why I Am outro at the end of it too. So they would play the riff of Why I Am, which they were working on in the studio. We had no idea what it was at the time. It was just the outro to Old Dirt Hill. And then so this one becomes a Dave and Tim staple more than it does the full band, but it would come in rotation. It's been back in rotation since 2022 pretty good. Though they did bring I will admit this. They started doing the bring that beat back, the boy band shit that I didn't like, but I think they do it well with this group. Like
Yeah,
I'm not turned
different.
off by it. I'm
Yeah.
not turned off by it. But I did see 2015 Deer Creek Night One in the acoustic set. They played a smoking version of that song, and Jeff Coffin was tremendous on it. So if you want to go back and listen to one I pick, I would say go check that one out. But what
There's
is
some
your
more
thought?
homework.
That's me, blah, blah, blah. So I'm not a fan of the studio track, but I am a fan of the song in general and have a lot of favorite versions of it. Think it's really good, Dave and Tim. So what are your thoughts on ODH, Older Hill?
I honestly agree completely with what you've just said. Like when listening to it on the album, I mean, yeah, there's some catchy beats and things like that that automatically like you just hear because it's so different.
Hmm.
But when I heard them slow it down, I just was like, that's what you needed to do, buddy. You just needed to pull back just a little bit on that song.
Hmm.
And so it wasn't my favorite on the album. It's not a go-to for sure. I don't pop that in and go to that song. I would probably skip it. And it's only because I've heard them do it a different way, and that's what I prefer.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I have my like it's a song that I think really like I really was like, okay, these songs are really growing in the live setting in a whole new, and this is like a
Hmm.
staple of it. Even though they've reverted back to a more studio track-ish of it, they have a Carter intro to it a little bit to get it going. And I have noticed like the crowd really gets into that out. They extend that outro out and let the crowd sing it a bit. So I'm like, crowd likes this one. It's a favorite. But yeah, if you go
There,
to a Dave and Tim show, yeah.
it is. It's so completely different. But and there's just parts of that song, just glimpses of that song in any way that you hear it, whether it's on the album or live. There's glimpses of just perfection,
Hmm.
little bits, but just the saxophone in that song when it gets towards that, it just there's some good things about it, but I really do like how it's progressed.
There are things. So if you're not familiar, if you're listening to this episode and you're not familiar with Dave Matthews Band or not a fan, well, good on you because thank you. But if you're not familiar with Dave Matthews, like there are weird things on his studio tracks that you wouldn't imagine appear in the live settings, and they do. Like when he coughs and stuff on the studio track, he mimics that live. He like to, and there's one of the funniest ones is Every Day, like the song. There's a part where he like goes, "Ah," and he does that live, and you think that's just a studio like edginess. No, he adds it. He does little nicks and crannies that he could skip and no one would notice, but he add those are part of the song to him, which I think
Yes,
is absolutely hilarious.
I love it. We were talking, a couple of us were talking about that the other day, just it's the noise that he makes right before they place pig.
Yep.
It's like he's picking up something like,
Yep.
like that's part of the song, but
Hmm.
also part of how cool he is to just be like, this is the beginning. I'm going to make this noise, you know?
Have you ever heard the legend of Space Pig?
No.
So, I give you like your homework. You want to listen to something.
Ooh, I'm
De-
writing it down.
Deer Creek Night 2, 2012. We always talk
Okay.
about this, me and the Deer Creek folk. He goes to play Pig, and Carter starts playing Spaceman. And like he doesn't even get to the hook. He's like, and he turns to Carter like, "What the hell are you doing?" And Carter's just sitting there like his hands in his face, and Boyd saves it. Of all the people, Boyd Tinsley saves it. And for the first verse of the song, it sounds like the old school "Don't Burn the Pig" because it's just like Dave and everybody slowly trying to find their way back to it. And we
Wow.
call it Space Pig because the set list went um Pig, and then Spaceman Cornbread. But looks like Carter forgot to see Pig, and he started the Spaceman drums, and it just is. It sounds fun. It's a mess up. They'll never release it, but it sounds fun, and we always call it Space Pig. So that's
I
one to.
have it written down and that will be done before midnight, sir.
There you go. There you go. That's also the show with. That's the same show with the best ever fool to think because they have this
Okay.
extended outro, and that was on a warehouse disc, which had to be voted for because that's how popular that version of the song. So, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that fool to think is
You just need to send me a daily email that's like, check this out, check
check this.
this
Oh,
out, check this
I
out.
could, dude. Don't tempt me because I
I'm not.
I have text chains where I'm like, I hope they're reading what I
Please.
wrote. I like,
Well,
hey, this.
I'm actually used to it. So again,
Yeah,
I work a lot with the Almanac, and
yeah,
so I always call them my, instead of Chat GPT, they're my
yeah.
Chat DMB.
There. Oh,
And so
that's
if I
good.
need to know anything, I literally just
Okay.
text them and I go, "Hey, I need to know this." Most recently, it was who plays the harmonica on the album version of What Would You Say?
John
Do you know
Popper.
the?
John
I
Popper is
did
from
not
Blues
know. I
Traveler.
was like, who
Oh,
the fuck is playing the harmonica?
you
I
know
just
who?
never thought about it.
The funniest thing is, and for years people thought it was the actual guy on the backup vocals for What You Would Say. It says Michael McDonald. Everybody thought it was the singer Michael McDonald, like the ain't no man.
Yes, I'm
Yep,
in love with him. I love him.
different guy. But for years, everybody's like Michael McDonald was on. Yeah, he was on. Yeah, it's like nope,
Dude, I
nope.
wonder what that sounds like. That would, dude, that
Because
would be.
I wanted a studio cut, like of him just being like, "What was it? Hey?
Please, someone put that
What was-"
together. Like, make a
Like
track.
I don't know if you watched them, but like the Before These Crowded Streets behind the scenes videos, one of my favorite things is watching Carter record backup vocals for Pig.
I
It's
haven't
just him
watched
going,
it.
"Come, sister, my brother." And Dave's like, "No, gotta go higher, guy." It's
Oh
just,
no.
it's so funny.
That's part of it though,
It's
right?
part
It's
of it.
part
Yeah,
of it.
when you put something together, there's weird things when you need just a little piece in, and it's hilarious when you think about like this looks ridiculous, but when you hear the final thing, you're like, oh, like
Right.
when I'm doing stuff for like my podcast or whatever. I used to do these like video promos and stuff when I had a lot more time during COVID. And like I'd be doing something ridiculous and my wife would like walk in the garage like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm trying to get this picture of myself with this specific lighting. It's for a graphic. It's just no, just I'm
Just go with
whatever."
it.
Yeah. Just it looks weird. It looks weird. Okay. We're gonna go to the next song. Stand up,
Yes.
parentheses for it.
And then Mark, because he's got ears like an elephant, not actually, but he has big ears. Just loved it, so he kind of looped a section of it for us to work with. So I sat down and wrote the lyrics to the song. I believe in love will save us all. I believe again, something like that. It could be that, or it could be dark.
This one is the title track. The title track to a political album that they say. Stand Up sounds like, oh yeah, stand up, political. This song's about like waking up with a boner in the morning, right? So like that's what you're titling your political album after.
I mean, why not though?
I think I've always defended this song a little bit in that it's got a groovy jam that if it was instrumental, like Kit Kat Jam became on Busted stuff, maybe it would be better received. I think a lot of people get the lyric happy people talk down on this song.
Yeah,
But
I
I
get
think
that.
Leroy's awesome. I think it's got a good jam beat to the guitar riff. I really loved in 2010 when they would do Stand Up and they'd do one verse of that, go to the chorus, jam it out, and then it would transform into Recently. Like that was awesome.
Oh yeah,
Thought that was
that'd
cool.
be a cool turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
I mean, I
surprised the
just
hell out of me
love,
one year because we were like, oh, it's Stand
I
Up.
bet.
And then it was like, wait, what? What's Recently? Wow. So yeah.
Wow, I just love
Yeah.
those guys and the way they like put everything together. Yeah, I love stand up. I guess I've not, here's some more homework. I guess I really haven't dug into I didn't even know that this was a political album. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't know.
That's what
And
they sold it
so,
as. They sold it. They were like, this is our political album back then. And it's like, is it?
okay. Now
It
this
is,
is the
but
album. They just put their name all over it, right? Like that you will not be mistaken who this is about because they just put
yeah.
the fire dancer on the
Yeah,
front, right? They were like, this is clearly Dave Matthews Band, and we
And
want you to know.
a lot of people are like, oh, it's the greatest cover. I'm like, that's to me, it's kind of lazy cover art. But I like what Dave likes when he does like the big whiskey and there's all these things
Oh
to
God,
look at and
yes.
stuff. I love the
Absolutely.
Crash album covers. Like, what's all this stuff here? Like,
Mhm.
I like art when you're just like, here's our logo. We ran out of time. Like, I don't know.
At least the fire dancer is out there, right?
Yeah, it is out there.
At least it's out there.
It is out there. You could have done a greatest hits with that, but okay. But yeah, it just the album cover. I'm like, I get it. It looks awesome on it, but I'm like, Okay. This album. All right. Whatever. Okay. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you seen stand up live before? Have you? Because in your era, well, in your time of going to shows, it got that shotgun cover attached to the end of it. The shotgun.
Oh yes, I know I've
Okay.
heard that. Now, I mean, remembering what I have heard is
Gotcha.
not something that I can just, I mean, sometimes, but I don't know.
You
I
don't.
don't
The
know if I've ever
almanac
heard
guys
it.
did. Almanac guys
No,
didn't
no,
do very
no.
much
I'm a
now.
lot. I do not. I know this sounds crazy. Like I'm into the almanac and the hub and all stuff for
Mm-hmm.
statistics. I'm not in there to track myself. I don't care
Oh,
what
okay.
myself does. And while that's kind of my flavor to just be like, whatever,
True.
because I'm not worried how many shows I've been to and all that shit. Like I know I keep up.
Yeah.
Uh, I can't remember what songs I've heard. It's all such a blur after
Gotcha.
75. So I have to
Fair enough.
manually go in and look at each show to see what I've heard. And it's so surprising before because I'll be like, I've never heard that. I've never heard that. And then I'll look back to a show that I went to and I was like, well, fuck, I have heard
I
that.
think because I've been so into logging stats and stuff for most of my DMB journey, that's why it's easy for me to just go, oh yeah, I've seen that.
Oh,
I've seen that. I've
absolutely
seen
it
it.
is.
And I'm down to like, in terms of like song chasers, desires, I'm down to like bare minimum stuff now that
Ooh,
it's
tell
like,
us what it
yeah,
is.
we're going to get to one of them here.
Okay, good.
We're going to get
Good.
to one of them here that is a white whale and it's like, I'm cursed. I'll tell you about it, but we're going to get to it. And there's two of them. There's only two of them off stand up I've never heard live before. So we'll
Huh.
get to those. One's coming up very soon. So, but yeah, stand up. Not one I'm looking for. I saw Joe Lawler on it the first time I saw it. Was my first Joe guest spot.
That's
That
always a fun thing.
yeah,
He's amazing.
he
So
came out.
good.
He
So
had a mop.
talented.
He had a moppy head of hair at the time, and just was like, it had the wachikas going on it. The wachika. That was the style he was
So
playing.
good. So
Um,
good.
yeah, so I was at my second show, the same one with that dream girl. That
You
that
got
was
really spoiled your first and second show.
my first, second, and third show. That was just like okay, like what when you get number 34 at your third show, like okay, like that's something people don't get.
Right.
And yeah, so that was yeah. Yeah, my third show was just like wow. Yeah, and I enjoy that. Now I look back and it was like it was one of the best shows of that tour. That tour isn't looked upon as it was a late start to that tour. So backing up, by the way, want to point something out. 2004, that tour leading into this one,
Mhm.
very now it is very, very, very highly regarded tour. A lot of the hater people feel it was the last great year. A lot of people just glowing about it. Go back and read reviews of the time with that
Mhm.
tour. The tour before it was 2003. That was one where they
Yes.
opened the shit out of the catalog. There were so many songs available that never get Spoon got played, Dreaming Tree was back, Last Stop was back, like Cry Freedom, like all these songs that disappeared from like 99 were back. Like they played anything and everything that tour. It was a Central Park year. People loved it. But 2004, they closed that. There wasn't many songs on tour, a lot of repetitive shows. People were complaining that they were playing the four new songs every night. Why can't they, even two night stands? You got them both nights, because they were working on them. We know what they do with those
Sure.
things.
Yes.
But a lot of complaints. And Sugar Will, which is a song we'll touch on later,
Mhm.
the joke was Sugar will bore you. People were not waxing poetic. Like if you look back at this, like a lot of hater people will, golden times. Not in that time. They like to rewrite history a lot of the times. With hindsight, they did. I don't think people knew what they had then, and they
Sure.
worship it now. But during the time, it wasn't as held up as majestically as it is now.
Of course
I'll say
not.
that.
Of course
So
not. Yeah.
So yeah, and there's songs now that I hear people chasing and loving and wanting that I'm like, but that's time goes by.
Yeah.
Time goes by, and you're just like, oh man, I had my fill of that one, but good luck on your chase. Like, wow.
Right.
So
Right.
it's crazy. So, but yeah,
It is crazy.
that 2004 tour, go look at the time. Look at people's. You can readily go on message boards. You can look at the Nancy's archive thing. It wasn't like in the moment. No. And in the moment, stand up was much more liked than you would find now. I will just put that out there. People
Huh.
want to erase history, but we are on the internet now. We can go back and look at things.
That's exactly
We can
right.
go back and
Thank
look at
God.
things. I keep receipts. All right. So the
Yep.
next track is American Baby intro. This
Mhm.
is definitely developed way better live. And this track for me feels like a demo or an outtake clip. Like I don't feel the sound effects sound like a Super Nintendo. And it was the second to last one to appear in the live setting. Like it took a lot of the tour before this one showed up. Became a staple though after it showed up in 2005, 2007. Usually set up Watchtower or Two Step. And then was rare until 2023, where it's been in a decent rotation since and sounds
Mhm.
wonderful now.
Sounds really good now.
He switched to playing it on the baritone electric, where it used to be on acoustic. But there's a weird. I'm gonna blow your mind with a song that used to be played on that started getting played on acoustic later on. Remind me.
Okay.
We're not there yet, but I didn't even realize it till like maybe when I was researching for this or maybe before. But I was like, what? That was on acoustic? What the? So yeah, I saw a killer version of this the first time I saw it, and I didn't think much of it on the album, but when I saw it live, I was like, whoa, this is badass.
Yeah.
So this one I'm kind of weird about. It's like as the album song, but what do you like? What are your thoughts of the album track of it?
I mean, I keep saying I'm going to agree with you again. It's,
Yeah.
listening to that, and it's so hard to separate feelings now because
We
we
don't
know
have to
so
fight.
much
We can
about the
agree. We
past.
can agree. We're
Yeah, we
positive people. We
can
can
agree.
agree.
That's
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
When listening to that and just uh, I have a warped point of view because then I wasn't listening to it when it came out, so all
Hmm.
I know is that
Yeah.
versus what's come out after, and it is very different. I can tell, or it seemed like it wasn't completely finished, and
Yeah.
it wasn't because they're not singing it that way anymore. But you do have to start somewhere, right? And that's just
Right.
where they started with that song. And I'm so happy that it did make an album because it has allowed it to do so much in the future. And so it needed work, but at that time in 2005, we were still developing, right? We
Hmm.
were still, I say we, but weren't we all in
Right.
2005 still developing? But the band was really still, we're still going, we're still trying to figure things out. And you don't always get it what we consider perfect at the very first. Now, of course, there's been songs that were perfect from the first moment. I don't think this is one of those.
Yeah. Yeah. Nope. Not at all. I do think our next track though, American Baby,
Yes.
fully formed song right off the bat, one of the best produced songs on the album.
Right, man. That's great. Hold that for me. That's a song right there. Yeah. Got something from that. When I could look at him and see, his body react to that part and how he felt about it, I was like, that's it right there.
I think hits, gives you everything you want from DMB, has a little jammy session at the end.
Mhm.
And this is the American Baby was the kickoff single from this album. Ends up being their highest charting single in their history, and they never freaking play it live.
I never play it.
They never play. It died after 2006. And 4 total plays. It came back 2 times at 2 of the caravans in 2011. It came back twice during the 2 sets in 2014. But that was because Boyd was recovering from his surgery, and that was easier for them. That was an easier. I think I'm surmising. No one told me this, but
Yes.
like he was sitting in a chair a lot, and that was a song where he could just sit and pluck. I
Mhm.
think that's why they brought it back till he felt a little more comfortable and better. Dave in 2020 during a random COVID political rally plays it on a virtual thing, like played American Baby, and
Huh.
but yeah, they never freaking play it. I would love
I'm
to hear
sad
it.
about
I've
it.
never
I
seen
would
this one.
too.
I've never seen this one. I missed the boat because I didn't start going until 2006, so I missed the year where it would have been at every show.
Mhm.
But it sounds good live too. Like
It sounds very good live. It sounds very good on the studio album. And it's one of the most, I find myself talking about these two songs, American Baby Intro and American Baby, a lot because there is some confusion within the community that those are two very separate songs that sound
Hmm.
two very separate ways. And so, American Baby, I want them to play it.
Yeah.
It's one of those songs I want to hear, and I think it would make a lot of people happy. But I am happy that we're getting American Baby intro. So not, we're getting something American.
I, I, I do have I can put two and two together with some things as to why maybe he doesn't play it.
I
Because
love theories.
in 2018, when Come Tomorrow came out,
Mhm.
Dave did a sort of commentary thing on Amazon about the songs on the new album, and they threw him some of his classic singles to give an introduction to and talk about the song a little bit. And American Baby was one of them. And he mentioned on that when after the song had come out, he was at a press thing or something like that, a year later or something like that, and somebody who was like a conservative journalist came up and like was like, "Hey, I didn't know you were big conservative, writing conservative." He's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "That song American Baby, that's a big conservative anthem, isn't it?" And he's like, "No,
Where the
no, I'm."
fuck did that come
And he's
from?
like, and like, I think he's haunted that confused somebody, and he doesn't play it because of that. Like, I honestly
It
think
could be that.
because of how he
Yeah.
is, that might
Yes.
be why it's on the shelf.
Well, that sucks
That
because
one
that
guy ruined
person
it for
ruined
everybody.
it. Well,
Yeah,
I don't know if you're listening to this, sir, but I would like to write you a stern letter.
yeah. That's my kind of like seeing this and seeing this and going, okay, okay, I can see him because it immediately hit the shelf. Like, and it's your highest charting single, which would definitely not their most recognizable tunes of all time,
Right.
but a lot of people are going to recognize it. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, for
and
sure. We will.
yeah, and that's one of the songs that came out of just Boyd plucking to warm up, and Batson said, "That's a song."
Well, and I believe in that because that
Hmm.
plucking is such a big part of that sound of the song. And I love it because
Hmm.
it is so very different
Yep.
than anything
And
else.
the
And
the
so,
drums add to it, and then
mhm.
Dave had a riff that like do no 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 that was a different thing, and they're like, we can pair it with this, and that's how they pieced together this song, and it sounds just boom. This might be one of Batson's best tracks he's ever produced too.
There
Like
you
this is
go.
real good. I like Monsters too. I think he really did awesome on Monsters. That was a good one from him.
Okay.
That I think Monsters is to me was like the best version of adding himself to Dave's music is like
Hmm.
Monsters. It works perfectly that way. To me, that's what I like that one. But we're on Stand Up,
Yeah.
not Monsters. The next one is Smooth Rider.
Don't get it enough.
Okay. I think this is another
Do
demo
you not
sounding
like it?
outtake. I think the no, hold on. I think the studio track sounds like a demo outtake. It's a very short one.
Gotcha.
It fades out real
Yes.
quick. I'm like, is this it? But this became a banger live. Like it became.
So good.
There are very long versions of it. It's usually they can bring a guest out and they fit immediately. Like some people wonder, like, why'd they waste a guest spot on Smooth Rider or Can't Stop? The old Can't Stop when it was small. I'm like, because you listen to the song, someone can easily hop in. That's why, it's like
Hmm.
and I'm like the guest guitarist isn't probably paying attention to D&B songs or the lyrics going on. There's like, that's a groovy beat. I can hop in and
Right.
shred. Um, but I think, yeah, this one also becomes mostly a Dave and Tim song after this and is a big time full band rarity. It's even a Dave and Tim rarity. I mean, now, but um, I'm okay. Like, I don't see Smooth Rider. I've seen it once, and like, as a song that could change something up and give me something I don't see all the time, I wouldn't mind it. I don't think I'm asking for it, but like, I'm not gonna be offended if it happens. Definitely
I mean,
better than yeah.
2025 version for sure. That's the one I would pick. I agree with you again on the album. It's just they were forming that sound, but now, and I have to separate this song into a couple categories, right? Because
Yeah.
there's like the sound, the music, but then there's the words and then just the vibe of that.
Yeah.
I I look at this song as one of the most sexiest sounding Dave
Oh,
songs.
okay.
I do. I mean, especially now. I mean, he sounds so sexy, and I think a lot of people would agree with me. The way that he sings that is just that's what I hear. I mean, yes, all the music is wonderful around it, but like I'm zoomed in on
Hmm.
how he sang those lyrics in that song.
This is what I
And
want. This is what I like because I'm a dude.
yeah.
I view the music differently than you. So no, that's
This
why
one
I
is a good one. Oh, I'm not
see.
afraid to talk about anything, but yeah, this
Yeah,
is the first one on this album that's like, okay, there's some sexuality here
yeah,
that I'm like picking up on. And Dave, okay, what are we talking about here? Yeah, whatever. Like, come on,
yeah.
dude, Smooth Rider, tell me about it. So, but I agree. Um,
I tell you, and I always say
it's
like
evolved.
one of my group of people I go with, my friends from Texas are big Smooth Rider fans. My friend Torrance is a big Smooth Rider fan. They're always like, oh, I dig that. We don't play that enough, and I'm like, but like I always say with that one, if you walked into some like local bar and there's some blues type band playing and they played like a Smooth Rider, you'd be fucking into it. You'd be like, yeah,
I
it's a
mean, I
fucking cool
would.
song. Like with the kind of emotion and stuff that Dave plays, because
Yeah.
part of enjoying Smooth Rider is it's better live and it's better. It also works to watch how Dave fires up during it. That
Yep.
works with it too.
It's like he's
Um,
changing characters when he sings this song.
I will say I did get Smooth Rider. It was funny. Like I didn't see Smooth Rider at a show till 2018 at Blossom, and it was one of the like weakest shows I've ever been to. I will say that. But like I was like, well, at least I saw Smooth Rider tonight. I'd never seen that
That's
before.
right. There
Like,
you go. You
I
get
was
to
like,
mark it off the list.
all right, I saw Smooth Rider tonight. So, and then they played a badass typical way late in the set. That I was like, finally something. It was one of those. It was one of those shows where like you get all the tour debuts, or it's like all of a sudden
Yeah,
randomly in the tour they decide to debut a bunch of, but it was all regular stuff except for Smooth Rider. It was all like it was like
right.
Jimmy Thing, Cornbread. I was like, oh, well, there was cool songs they were playing that now took a back seat because they decided to bring out all the I see them all the time stuff. So that was
The
kind of where my
mind of David
yeah.
Matthews. Who knows what he's doing?
So that's where my thing was with that show. But I will be I'm always like, well, I did see Smooth Rider for the first time that night.
Yes.
So there's
Yes. And it needed to happen because you needed it
yeah. Here
off
we
your
go.
list.
If I had seen Smooth Rider like 15 times in my history and that happened, I'm like, oh, of course this night. But I
Of
hadn't. It
course.
was my first time, and I'm like not
Probably
bothered
won't
by it.
happen.
Don't see that
No.
song enough to be pissed about it. So
Nope.
nope.
Bring it
Um,
back.
okay. Here's one. The next one we're going to that de- three like 180 for me at one point here. But everybody wake up. Parentheses. Remember, I says the parentheses album.
Mm-hmm.
Our finest hour arrives. Here, politics are back. I
Yep.
think this one, studio wise, overproduced. Um, sounds like it's
Agreed.
trying too hard
Agree.
lyrically. It ends up being the last song to appear in the live set. It does not appear till like the butt ass end of the tour, and like then they try it a little bit on the fall tour. They like play it 7 times total in 2005, and then it goes away till 2012 when
God.
somebody held up at a show. They held up a sign that said "Build You a House." Build You a House was so there's the Lily White sessions, but then there's a disc 2, and Build You a House was on there. It was this little sweet song. Has this the riff from that became Everybody Wake Up, and so there was like the reason one of the reasons live track 16 from Riverbend 2000 was released is Dave teases Build You a House in that show, but it's never been played live. So if someone has a Build You a House sign, and then like the next show, which I believe was Blossom that year, they resurrected Everybody Wake Up because Dave that riff, and someone was like, careful what you wish for, because that became a different song. It's no longer Build You a
Right.
House.
Right.
And it came back, but they restructured it, and it was kind of badass. I liked the 2012 version of. I saw it. That was the year I went to SPAC for the first time, and I saw it there. And my friends and I were like, that was kind of awesome. I don't think they ever really got a hold of it live in 2005. It doesn't sound very good, but the way they did it in 2012 added an intensity to it, rocked out, and I dug it. So I was like, okay, you're on the plus side, Everybody Wake Up. I never really liked you much, but that worked in 2012. So that's one of my most
Yeah.
improved players from this one. And then it went away again. So yeah.
As they do. I love this song for a few reasons. And I think it's such a call to action from them.
Yeah.
Like, dude, if you're just floating through life, I'm going to need for you to wake the fuck up and see what's happening. And
Mhm.
I think that's so true to who they've even remained as people, who they've always been. Very very pro, like everybody pay attention to what's going on around you because it's affecting all of us, right? And so I think that was just a great example of him doing that. And as it built intensity, maybe it was just more, it seemed more important or more pressing for him
Mhm.
to really push that message.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true. Um, and it leads right into the next one too. They're linked songs out of my hands and because there's a
Yep.
callback of lyrics.
Out of
The
my hands.
Some musicians are just so talented and genius, they can just pick up somebody else's instrument and just start to play. I see that the guys in this group are guys that have those type of natural gifts.
Our finest hour arrives. See the pig dressed in his finest fine. Shares the
Mhm.
lyrics. This is a good studio track. I
Yes.
dig it. Politics back to back here. Uh, this is one I've had to go on this whirlwind with because I'm now at one point I'd have told you please keep out of my hands, out of my show, but it's great at a Dave and Tim show. This is a
This-
one like it's a plus at a Dave and Tim show. I went to CMAC in 2022, Dave and Tim, which ends up being the last show they do at CMAC because they sold Dave's wine to someone else and they don't play that. Saw out of my hand, took my son with me to that show, and this was one he like I like the one where Dave went on the piano. That was cool. I didn't know he did that, and they added some sauce on the outro to that one, so that's a good one. But during 2012, they played Mercy and went right into Out of My Hands, and that just killed the crowd every time.
in
It
a
was
good
like,
way, right?
no, they were just like,
What?
oh, bathrooms, everything, just, yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
I'm just a different breed, man.
well,
I don't know.
at a full band show, Out of My Hands, like, sort of, like, would, like, kill the crowd a bunch.
I
And it was like,
understand that.
but I went back and I was listening to some 2008 shows because Out of My Hands took a break after the tour, the stand-up tour, and then like came back in 2008. I think I was still early going to shows, so it was a nice get there, and they had a really good. Dave's piano was like perched up a little higher, and they had a really good background to it that was like the sun that was like lighting up or something. And I listened to some tape to some live tracks in the show I went to, and I was like, did I not appreciate Peak Out of My Hands because it was all I remember it got way more intense than I remember, and Carter was a lot heavier on it, and it was really good. Like those 2008 Out of My Hands were pretty awesome. But now I'm a like if I go to Dave and Tim show after Tim does his solo, if he goes to piano, I'm hoping he's doing Out of My Hands. Like that's where I'm at with
Yes.
it now. So I have come
Yes.
back onto it where I'm like, this has a place at a Dave and Tim show where it's really cool. And I also like that CMAC show. Last time he's played Out of My Hands on United States soil because it's always in Mexico now. So, but I do like so. That's in my history. Like I've watched that song. Like I haven't really seen it that much, but every time I've seen it, it has like just crowd killer. And it should be in the E1 spot. And I don't think he's ever played it there. So kind of weird. But what are your thoughts? Obviously, you're surprised
I
at my thanks for Out of My Hands. So
I love the debate of it. Or not, it's
mhm.
not a debate. I love the conversation that
Yeah.
like back and forth and how do you know, how does this make you
Mhm.
feel? What did you think
Yeah.
about it? I dig all of this. I do agree, like what you said, it's a back-to-back political, if you will. I
Mhm.
don't like the word political, but like whatever it is, he had a message.
Yeah.
And I think that the fact that he did pull the piano in and he slowed it down. I mean, it's
Mhm.
such a slow well-spoken song that I think At least in my head, he did it that way to draw attention, not to make everyone go to the bathroom, but like,
Yeah.
listen, I
Yeah.
am telling you something. I've slowed everything. No one else is playing at this moment. I am sitting here playing at the piano and I am telling you how I am feeling. And that's just what I see in that
Mhm.
song. And I'd love to hear it again. I don't know off the top of my head if I've ever heard it. I don't live, but I'm very familiar with the song. It is one of my favorite off of the album, and I like it the way it was recorded, but I like it anyway.
I'll tell you what, if you'd have asked me so many years ago, it would have probably been towards the bottom, but it's
Yeah.
risen up for me. Maybe it's my later years or something like that
The
my old age.
wisdom.
My
Yes.
yeah. But I think this song should have closed the album. I honestly think so. He likes to go with softer stuff to close albums, and this is your political album, and I think this is the one to like send a message as you're going home and just like
Man, he
really be
fucking
like,
did
damn.
send a message though
Yeah.
with the last song on this
Yeah,
on that album.
a
And we'll
different
talk about
type.
that message in a little bit.
Yeah, a different one. So yeah, out of my hands. Yeah, definitely. I've changed. I've come around differently on. So now my favorite off this album, my favorite of the '04 songs, "Hello Again." Also, this is the white whale of me. Oddly enough, and I'll get into that in a sec. But yeah. So I don't like what they did studio with it. There's a little too much hibbity skibbity with it.
I get
And
it.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I love the lyrics of this one. I like Storyteller Dave,
Mhm.
and we're about to get Storyteller Dave on back-to-back tracks here. So, but this one kind of feels like I don't know if you're familiar with it, but like Bruce Springsteen's Nebraska album, this feels like lyrics that could have gone on that one.
Really?
This is about the Green River Killer, which was a serial killer that got caught like a year or two before Stand Up came out or something up in the Northeast, and I think it was maybe on Dave's mind. Um, and I really love the lyrics about killing someone that reminds you of your first kill or whatever. Kind of an interesting thing. Live, it took a hiatus after 2005 and came back in 2010 for a little bit. And then since Buddy has joined the band, I think it's one of Buddy's favorites because it's been around like almost every year since, at least for a couple plays. So I like this one a lot. Love it. I think live it's great. I can never catch it live.
You
Never.
know, the best time to catch that song, I can tell you the date specifically. It
The
was
one
July 23rd,
oh,
2021,
okay.
when we had our first show
Oh,
after
yes.
COVID. And I just felt it in my bones that they were going to sing this because it was so appropriate. Like,
Mhm.
obviously not with all the killing and stuff, but like, hello again,
Yeah.
right? Like, we're
Yeah.
back, which is not what the song is about. But I just knew it was going to happen, and it
Yeah.
did. And it was perfect. It felt so good.
So, if you want to catch Hello Again, you also ask Brandon, what is the first show you're going to of the tour? Or what are the shows you're going to tour? And then you pick one that is either before or after my last show of the tour. That's how it happens. So 2010, it came back, that first show in Hartford, the legendary Hartford 2010 show. And I was like, oh, it's back. Awesome. And they kept playing it. I was like, yes. So they play it at St. Louis before Deer Creek, which was my first show of 2010. And then they didn't. I was like, it's coming at Deer Creek. It's coming and they don't play it at Deer Creek. Okay. Maybe at Alpine. Didn't play it at Alpine. It was dead before Wrigley. That year it didn't even show up on the fall tour when I went. Then it came back in 2018. Awesome. I went to Star Lake for the first time that year. Didn't play it there. Okay.
It hates you.
And then the next night I went to Blossom. Oh, they gave me a new stand-up song. It was Smooth Rider. Okay. So the show before Deer Creek that year, Summerfest in Milwaukee, they played Hello Again. Okay.
Yes, they
It's
did.
ready. It's ready for Deer
They
Creek.
knew.
It's ready for Deer Creek. It doesn't happen at Deer Creek. So it comes back in 2021.
Yes.
I didn't play it at Deer Creek. They played it like once or twice. No, they played it that show you were talking about, and then they played it at West Palm Beach. Then they went to Chicago. Then they came to Deer Creek. They didn't play it at Deer Creek. Didn't play it again the whole tour until the last stop before the break. Oh, I can't remember where it was. They played it there. Then they take a month off, and I go to the Columbus show. They didn't play it there. So that's the first. That's the one right before me, even though it's a month apart. Same tour. Okay, fine. Doesn't play in 2022, 2023. Go to Deer Creek. Okay. They didn't, well, it wasn't even debuted yet. Right after night 1 Chicago tour debut. Hello again.
Were you there?
Okay. Nope. I went to
Oh
night 2.
God.
I went to night 2 of Chicago because I was looking that night. I go, well, they didn't play Busted Stuff at Deer Creek that year, and I was like, well, if they don't play Busted Stuff night 1 of Chicago, I'm gonna go night 2. Night 1 they played Hello Again. They debuted. I was like, and then night 2 I went to Chicago. They didn't play. They didn't play Busted Stuff. But I did get All You Wanted For Was Tomorrow, which is the only time I've seen it, and the only time I've seen Cha Cha. So that show does hold merit. So then 2024. Okay, here we go. I went to Alpine, Blossom, Pine Knob, and Deer Creek. Alpine night 1 went. Night 2 there was like a tornado and all sorts of like weather and all sorts of shit. So they cancel that. I go through the week. I'm not going to be able to make the makeup show at Alpine.
No. Oh no.
And the minute they debuted it, but here's the thing. I was sent privately the original set list for that night that got canceled. It wasn't on there. Neither. There was a lot of stuff. There was some stuff that it was structured similarly, but he added some stuff. But yep, so there goes Hello Again. I'm like, oh, okay. This year, Deer Creek. They debuted the song, and then it'd been like 4 weeks, and I'm like, okay, it's a Friday night concert series. That's one to change it up for that. Didn't happen. But Richmond night 1, boom, Hello Again came back. So that is it haunts me. I can't.
You know, if you ever do see it, it will just be hello to you.
Yes. I felt like a dork. It took me so long. I didn't get Baby Blue for the first time till last year, and I felt like a dork. I was like, okay, because none of the 2009, 2010 shows I went to did it get played. So
you can't make this shit up. Like it's
no,
so
it's
crazy
weird.
how everybody has all of these different experiences.
There's people who've seen it like 8 times in the last like 4 years. I've zero, but like I have plenty of stuff that I have seen that I'm like, I'm sure people would be quite jealous of things. So
of course,
that's for me. Pay for what you get.
That's right.
Another white whale that I can never. It avoids me too. So
when was the last time that was played?
SPAC
I don't even know.
SPAC this year. One off at SPAC this year. And they've gotten it like 3 times in like the last 10 years. So it's like, okay.
Wow.
But I can't the year. So like with that song, 2022, I went to the Gorge. It showed up at SPAC, showed up at North Carolina, it showed up at West Palm Beach. And I'm like, I'm going to the Gorge. Of course they're going to play it. They've never played it at the Gorge, by the way.
Never?
They've never played that one at the Gorge. So I get there, go night 3. Here comes the E1. Like, this is going to be it. And then he starts playing fucking 34. How am I supposed to complain about that?
You can't.
No. Even it was my second time here in 34, having a drone show going on too. I was like,
Such a good year. I mean, it was a good and a bad year, but yes.
I was like, no, I missed that, but I got something I'm gonna fucking never forget. Like it's an even exchange.
Exactly.
So it was one of the best encores I've ever seen. Fair enough. So yeah, that's my white whale story. So what's your thoughts on Hello Again? So as I cry about it.
I like it. I don't love it.
Okay.
If that's okay. I like everything they play. I'll say that 1,000 times.
Yeah.
It's not one that I would put on a list if I were writing it myself.
Gotcha.
Not to say that I don't appreciate it, because there were fun times with this song, like Raleigh, and how fitting it was for that moment. But other than that, like it's just not on the top of my list, and that's okay to say.
Yeah, I think it has. In the time it's been brought back since 2018, it has lost something because it used to build up to a drum solo from Carter that was awesome, and the drum solo would then lead into an awesome baritone sax solo and take it around, and then they come in intense at the end, and they kind of skip around that, but he just goes is for the jam, and then they get right back into it. So it has lost luster live, but I still want to see it at least one time.
Just gotta keep going.
Just one time.
Come on, Dave.
Time, yes. So
Hello?
okay. And now we're going to go to everybody's favorite song, Louisiana by You. And this is one of the first tracks that showed me that Dave Matthews Band was always better live than studio, because
True.
this is like, but there's
It's
such
too
power.
controlled.
There's
It's too controlled.
There's power to it live that's not here at all. This is such a
Exactly.
the studio track is like smoke a joint, hang back, and yeah, bye you. The live one is like intense, like crazy,
Yeah.
and then like that came from this. Like they sound all like. There's another song that will have this description later, but it's almost like that's the same song. Like,
Yeah.
really? So
Right.
when I first started going to shows, Bayou was awesome. Bayou was cool. But then, like, this is one of the first songs I learned about them, like, finding something new they like and beating it into the ground. And then hearing, I've been to different crowds act different ways, but you go to some of the hardcore venues and this thing starts up, sometimes you hear a, oh.
I'm usually standing with those people, and I'm
Yeah.
the only one like losing my shit going, fuck yeah.
But a lot of times I tell people, I'm like, okay, but let's get to the end, and you're going to be bopping your head and tapping your toe to the end of it.
How can you not be?
Right.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's because I am just north of Louisiana, and that's been part of my uh, growing up, is being around the Cajun culture and understanding, the lifestyle
Mhm.
in Louisiana in certain spaces. And the lyrics that he says in it, what is it? The judge and jury will never, something
Never
that
hear
he's
the
talking about
story told, yeah.
is never going to happen. Like shit's going down and it's going to be okay because you're in Louisiana in the bayou. And the way that he sings it and like that, ooh, ooh,
Yeah.
ooh, like I like all of that. But
Mhm.
on this album, it had not reached it. It was not ready. It was
No.
not complete.
Yeah. And I will give you, you know what probably saved you, since you said your first show was in 2015, right? Those are you said?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you missed 2005 to 2009 where it was like, like it that probably saved you.
There we go.
There's
There we
different,
go.
because like I really like what you are, but I know coming up 2001 to 2004, people were like, I'm sick of that one. I don't like that
Mhm.
closing out my shows. Da, da, da. I've seen those songs go from Please Don't Talk. Like there was a time, believe it or not, where I didn't get to see Break Free in 2006. I didn't get to see it till 2011 at the Caravan. But between that time, I was on like message boards being like, wish they'd bring that back. And people would be like, fuck no. And then it came back. And then I get to a time where people are like celebrating that it's back. I'm like, oh, really? It's cool to like this one now? Like, okay.
You
Where
do
did all
you,
the
man.
haters go? Where did all, like, everything becomes like beloved after a while, but like it was weird because I got told to shut up about the '06 songs that I liked so much. I was like, I'd like Break Free or Kill the King to come back. It's like, no, shut up. Like, what? Why? What's wrong with those? I like them. So different eras, people come into different things.
Yes.
Like I told you, the
Absolutely.
craziest thing I've seen is like all this like love for Spaceman as if it was like Spoon. And I'm just like, I grew up where I was like, man, another Spaceman. Like I have heard my fill of Spaceman, but more power to those people. I'm like, wow, I want to be there with you where you're like, oh my God, chasing Spaceman, or like,
I love
was
it
like-
just because it's fun and it's so
Yeah.
I mean, at the end, thought I saw a spaceman trying to
Yeah.
get laid. I mean,
Yeah.
Dave, come on, you're
Yep.
gonna get sex in every fucking song.
Yep.
So
Oh,
he
yeah.
just put it out in the end.
Right. Yeah. No, it's just like it's just funny to see like the times change with that. Like, and when I
Oh,
was
yeah.
going to shows, people were like, "Well, it's just like the vibes, the ideas different. People come in at different times. It's like it's neat to me to see that
Yes.
where people
I
like,
get that.
yeah, because I used to be like, it was a guarantee at any 2-night stand you went to for many years that Spaceman was going to show up.
I
So-
travel a lot with a lady who
Mhm.
really does not like Louisiana Bayou. It's
Yeah.
very much known in her community or in her group. And I was standing next to her. I guess it was Deer Creek this year. Yeah.
Oh, you were there? Were you
where,
at Deer Creek?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
my.
I was.
All right. Same
We
place,
were,
different spots.
yes.
All right.
I mean, yeah, it's
Okay.
the moment it came on, like the moment.
It was the
She
first one
she
of the
just-
year,
She
too.
just sat down, She just
Yeah.
sat down, and I was like, I mean, I know her story, so I was
Yeah.
like, okay, but like, let it be known that did not ruin my night. I was like,
Yeah.
hell yes, and I mean, like, just that jam, and maybe again, maybe it's where I come from, like that swagger of the Louisiana Cajun
Yeah.
mix. I just dig it. I dig it, and it's so very different than everything else.
I was very into that night two show, so that did not like it was not what I was looking for, but it didn't deter the run at all because I was I'm very enamored with that show too because like did you know that was the first time that Minaret's Last Stop and What You Are were ever played in a show together.
No, I love those statistics
And
though.
they were all in power like I think that is in the history of DMB. I think it's one of the best power sliding ever because he had all those Egyptian, Middle Eastern songs, the big three of them there and in the power slots. And then you get Some Devil E1, which is one of the best E1s you can get anyway. So I was just like,
Such
wow.
a good show.
And I had a theory. My friends kept their texts because I was like, hey, I think we might see like Last Stop close the show or like Last Stop and What You Are might be in the last two power slots. I have a feeling. And it happened. I just like I sense it. And also another rarity, JTR and Last Stop in the same show like 4 times total. So
Wow.
that Deer Creek show
That
full
was
of
good.
craziness, full of
Deer
craziness.
Creek always really delivers, I feel like.
Yeah.
Maybe not, way back when, but like in my years
Yeah.
of
No, it
traveling in
always
the
has.
last decade, so
So
good.
I always talk about like the venue because like there's the venue, but I'm like, look, every venue, like I think Gorge is gonna give you year in year out no disappointment. I think
Yeah.
SPAC
That's not
typical.
true, but
Well,
okay. Are
okay,
we talking about music?
right, yeah. Well, I'm like SPAC. You're gonna get. They tend to favor SPAC a bit. It's obvious, but the other ones go in this like carousel of like, oh, look at me up here. Oh, and they look at me like, look
Yeah.
how awesome Camden was last year,
Yes.
and this year a lot of people complaining about Camden. Right now, like, look at that. Guilford, New Hampshire's like there, but I'm like, oh, they're gonna get humbled. West Palm Beach had an awesome 2010, and then like people and then went back up in the last few years. I was like, they had
Hmm.
some really fun good shows the last few years. And it just happened. Deer Creek 2018, 2019, Top of the Pops, I think best 2 night stands. And then in the last few years have been kind of wandery, but I think they were back. Night two felt like they got back on track with Deer Creek finally after a few weird years because we had a rain shortened year in 2023. Or no, starting with
Hmm.
2022. 2022, we had no Tim Reynolds because he was out with COVID. And then Carter hurt himself during Louisiana Bayou, which we're talking about right now, and couldn't come out for the encore. So you had this weird rye whiskey, steady as we go with just Buddy and Dave and Good Night. And the whole place was like, the what?
Yeah, right.
And then the next year, rain shortened night two. Then the next year, night one was supposed to close the set with What You Are. He cut that, did Ants, and the show was supposed to close with Two Step, and he cut that, did You Might Die Trying. And then the next night, What You Are didn't show up, and then Two Step was the only one to show up, and no Last Stop at Deer Creek. I'm like, okay. And then this year, no cuts, lots of cool stuff. Like I was like, okay, we're back on track now. You got that
Yeah.
What You Are from the previous year, got the Last Stop from the previous. Okay, there we go, back on track. But venues right now they're talking about this one, but I'm like, give it 5 years, you'll be like, oh, why does Deer Creek get all the cool? Like that's just what
Sure.
happens because it's a
Yeah.
carousel.
Just gotta spread the love, man.
Gotta spread the love, and also like through my venue stats things I do. Um, People bitching about like Sledgehammer. He actually smartly positions that. It looks like it gets played a lot, but if you look at places, he's smartly like, oh, that one's never had it. That place has never had it. That place hasn't had it in 12 years. And it's like actually pretty sneaky how smart he is with placing some songs that you think are taking over, but they're really not. But that's another story. Speaking of stories, Stolen Away on 55th and 3rd.
Mhm.
Um, this is the best to me of the demo sounding songs. I like this one a lot. I think
Mhm.
Roy aces it. Lyrically,
Mhm.
it's a tribute to Funny How Time Slips Away by Willie Nelson and kind of a sequel to Little Thing, Dave's little 96 song about meeting a strange woman asking her for a cup of Joe or who knows. And it's like if he met that person again. Um, and I really like it live. I think it's fun, but I have been bombarded with it the last 2 years. Like I had seen it.
Yeah.
I saw it in 2008, killer version at Chula Vista, one of my favorite Rashawn solos. That was the first time I saw it. I saw it again in 2014. So I had seen it 2 times going into 2024. I'm now at like 8 or 9 the last 2 years. Like, okay, I get it. You guys are happy playing this one again. But what are your thoughts on Stolen Away?
I think it's just really good, and it's hard not to have like an emotional attachment to that particular song because what sticks out to me in on that song on the album is Leroy's saxophone. You know,
Hmm.
there's just such a presence in that song, and the way that he plays it is just so fucking sexy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so smooth and so good. And I love that we were able to, not that we haven't captured it a million times, but that song right there just sticks out on that album because it was his last album and because it was just so fuckingly well done.
Yeah. Yep. Agree. Yeah. No matter what, he was always there. Like it shows
Yeah.
up. Like even on people's
Yeah.
least favorite albums, he was giving it 110%.
He was.
Okay. Okay. Maybe the most like skyrocketing song from album to now, You Might Die Trying,
Yes.
because there was one of my favorite things that happened was in 2012 when Steve Lillywhite was doing um, Away from the World. He went to the Hartford shows and he was struck with by You Might Die Trying. And he went on Twitter and was like, "Oh my gosh, this song was amazing. Can someone send me the studio track on that?" Someone sent it to him and he goes, "What the fuck? That is not the song I heard. What is this?"
Right. Right.
Because it's so different. And this
Hmm.
one has the drum machine shit and all that stuff, but like
Hmm.
I think this was like when 2008 when Tim joined, this song took a huge new
It came
level.
alive. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, and politics are back. Here we are.
Yeah.
Politics are
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. For
so
sure.
so you a fan of You Might Die Trying?
Of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think there's so much truth in that, at least for
Hmm.
me, all of the things I think about, whatever, take the politics aside, whatever.
Hmm.
Like just in kindness and loving people and being a good human, I literally will die trying to be
Hmm.
that person. And so I think that it can speak to anyone across whoever's listening like, in different ways. And so, but yeah, not going to the album to listen to that. Definitely
Hmm.
not. I want the heated Dave who's
Yeah.
really just preaching, that's what he's
Yeah.
doing. And I love that part of it. But he
Song
wasn't doing that then.
song also appeared on the show House. Yeah. Yeah,
Really?
the studio track field. Yeah, Dave appeared on House, and
Yes,
then
I do remember that.
a different episode of House had You Might Die Trying. So
No way. I'm
twofer.
gonna
Yeah.
write that down. My
Yeah.
homework.
Yeah, I definitely like this is one of the best on the album, bar none. And it's a good one live. I've seen it a lot, and it's one that like
Hmm.
it comes back around for me quite a bit. Where sometimes I'm like, it's sort of like this one. If I'm at a show in a set that's just like cooking, You Might Die Trying comes on and becomes my reality check of like, oh, we're going back to a real normal one. I'm like, okay, this ain't bad, but I'm like, oh, get off your high horse, Brandon. This, other stuff
Yeah.
happens, but like,
Yeah.
kind of funny. But that we were talking about the Wrigley one, that one, that's good stuff. That
It's
the
just, it's
his
so good.
stuff toward before they get to the outro is just like
Yeah.
chill
I mean, the
inducing.
last 3 minutes, that's all I need is the
Yeah,
last 3 minutes of that song and I'm done. It's just like, Jesus Christ, what
yeah.
has happened? Somebody like transformed through his body in that last 3 minutes where
Hmm.
he's like, hey, ha, he's just doing all these noises. And I'm like, dear God, I wish I would have been there, and known
I
what
was
I know
there. I
now.
was there.
I
I did the
know, I
Wrigley. I did the
know, I
Wrigley.
know.
Yeah.
I can't imagine, but I'm so thankful that, those are recorded and are easily accessible by anyone, even people that are now finding the band, because that song has really transferred into the future in a very different way and has become a lot of people's theme song,
Yeah.
if I'm being for real. So I love it.
From theme songs to first dance songs, steady as we go.
Mm.
Sometimes a love song got a little bit of death in it. Sometimes a death song got a little love in it. Sometimes a song about being friends. Sometimes a song. This is just a love song.
I walk halfway around the world just to sit down by your side.
If you're a DMB fan and you
Yes.
got married from 2005 to 2008, this was probably your first dance song, which is why I'm surprised it doesn't get heavier play. I know they didn't have a piano player but they could have figured a way for Tim to do the riff on the guitar or something like that. But another cheesy little love tune. Don't mind it. I really like the big ending. This was the highlight of the VH1 Storytellers that they did to promote this
Yes.
tour.
Yes.
That I think very good one. Have you've caught this one live? Have you? Have you or no?
I have. I
Okay.
have many times actually. And I for me, it's not it's a sweet song. I
Mhm.
love the words. I love how it was written. It's very sweet. I understand that it is a lot of people's couple song and you can see that in the crowd when it's
Mhm.
being performed and so, there's that, but I don't have an emotional attachment to it.
Fair enough. This one's just a nice change-up song for me, and I haven't seen it a lot, so I'm kind of like I feel like every time I hear it might be the last time I hear it, so I just kind of like enjoy it while it's there.
Yes, of
Although
course.
at Deer Creek this year, night one, like because Buddy had some keyboard issues night one, and I could when they played this one, he played it on electric keys and not piano, which is different. So I noticed that when I listened back to the recording of it, I was like, oh, that's he was having he was having key issues
But he
during
made the
that. So
best of what
yeah,
he just like was okay, we're doing it this way.
yes. And now our finale, Hunger for the Great Light. If you know what, if lyrics are gonna be about sex and stuff, just make them about sex and stuff. I know a
Dear
lot of
God,
people
and
want
that's
it to
what he
be.
did.
There's poetic like Rapunzel, but then there's this like, and this is where he starts to get a bit more blunt with stuff because Cornbread comes after this and Shake Me Like a Monkey come after this. Belly Belly Nice, but there's a long history of Dave writing these songs. Hunger definitely is the most because Fonz wrote the music for it and it's got his
Yes,
grunge
that's
grunge
right.
infusement on it. When I saw my first show, this was a highlight. I dug this one. I was like, oh yeah, that's good. I didn't see it again until 2013. Deer Creek's like a magnet for it. Every time it comes back, it plays at Deer Creek, even though like it's like I think it's been played like 12 times in the last like 12 years, and like Deer Creek
Mhm.
has like 4 of them, including 2 tour debuts for it, and it showed up this year. And I'll tell you what, it's not something I would pick, but it hit the spot where it was and felt like a nice change up. And I think I'm
Yeah, it
back.
did.
I think I'm back on board with. I think I'm back on board with liking this song like a lot again because I'm like, I was like, it hit the spot. I was like, all right, this is a nice, quick burst of energy. And I did see it one time in 2015 with the Lovely Ladies, and it
Yes.
actually rocked with them. Like the praise God part, like one of them sang like up way here, and I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. So yeah, right now I'm good with this song again. So like, it's a nice it because like he can get stuck on some of these like Shake Me Like a Monkey's. Like there was a period where that was all the time and stuff like that, and he can get stuck on those. But like Hunger's at a point where it's like, oh, I don't hear this, but like it was like 7 years ago I heard it the last time, and I was like, all right, yeah, change it up, cool.
Yeah.
That's where, yeah.
Yeah. So I love the studio version. I love the live version. I think it's pretty perfect right on the album. And I've spent a lot of time with this song
Hmm.
because, when talking about Dave Matthews Band, you're going to run into a lot of songs that are either talking about drugs or sex. And that's just part
Hmm.
of this band. And I'm very comfortable with that. And so, with having this podcast in the beginning, when I was really trying to find my direction, I knew that I wanted to try to break down some songs because again, I'm just so hungry for understanding what
Hmm.
this is about. And so one episode we literally did a breakdown of this song from the studio version and went line by line and broke it down. And we literally, I think that we did it justice. I don't know if you've heard it.
Hmm.
There was some weirdness in some of it. That was before my editing days. So there's like a lady that has an orgasm, and it, like, it's just like a terrible thing, but
Yeah,
also very like, okay, yeah,
yeah,
that's what we're talking about. So we just tried to make people laugh and make people very comfortable with this song that maybe could be uncomfortable if you're not open about
yeah,
talking about sex. And I think that that's such a normal thing that I have no issues talking about it. And
gotcha.
obviously, neither does Dave. And it's something that I think all of us humans pretty much enjoy for the most part. And so why not talk about it, right? And the
Right.
way he did in this song was so coded in a way. Like you kind of had to have a decoder to understand exactly
Hmm.
what he was saying because he doesn't just he doesn't just tell you. I mean, he tells you in lyrics, right, or in riddles, and you're like, okay, here's what we could say. And there's so many interesting things in that song. As far as religion and his beliefs, but yet he says this in this song. And so there's just a lot of things you can talk about in that song. And I love it. I will never stop talking about it. And I think anyone that's listened to this, if you want to get an eargasm, then listen to my episode. I re-released it recently, so it shouldn't be too hard to find. And it's just called Hunger for the Great Light. And we had a lot of fun in that episode. So I love it.
I was once driving back from Vegas with a friend, and I was talking about, he knew he wasn't a D&B fan. He's like, well, I like songs about sex and stuff, and he didn't really write about them. I'm like, excuse me? He's like, what? And I put on Hunger for the Great Light. He's like, what is this? I'm like, dude writes nothing but a lot of times. Like, he's like, oh my God. And then I played him Rapunzel, and I'm like, he's like, oh, that's what that's about. I'm like, yeah, dude, Dave likes oral a lot. He writes about it quite a bit.
Maybe he's good at it, and he's just very confident. Yeah. I don't know.
We'll
never know.
I did read an article once written that said one of the things about Dave that differed him from his 90 contemporary lyricists is that, like, Dave wrote, and why he appeals to women a lot too, is that he writes in worship of women, and that he's a guy who actually writes about enjoying sex, as opposed to like your Cobains and people that were like, oh, grudge is so hard. And Dave was like, hey, what's up? Like that's, and that's what his lyrics, promoted. Like, hey, I enjoy relationships. I enjoy, like all this stuff. And it was different from the fold. And that's what has stood out. And there's longevity to his lyrics, or to his music, because of that. And that's, why he's very trusted and appreciated by women. It was an article written by a woman too, so it wasn't like a dude being like, I think that, no. So,
right.
Which I was like,
I can definitely appreciate it. I appreciate it probably more as a woman, just because of the way it's written, and the wording that he uses just trips you up, and you're like, fuck. I mean, like, literally, like, break down the song. If you've never read the words to this song, that's your homework takeaway from me, is read those words and read into them, because what you think he's saying, he is saying.
Right. Yeah, very true.
When he started playing on the guitar, the whole grunge thing that he was feeling was coming out in the guitar. Stefan laid the foundation, and all you had to do is just stand up there and just go for it. And that's right up my alley.
Next thing I know, we were grooving. I told Mark that day, I said, this has to be about dirty sex. Just gotta be. Whatever Dave writes on top, just whatever your lyrics are, just make them dirty.
Here you go, you dirty girl. Good God.
Yeah.
So now we're going to get into, so we're going to quickly go over this bonus disc that came out with it, because there's a couple studio tracks on here. And I appreciate you. We've been going very long, but this has been a good conversation. So
I kind of do this for a living now. It's like.
Gotcha. So Joyride, studio cut. I think he aced it pretty good. His vocals are gravelly. But this is the most political of political songs, and they cut it from their political album. What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, I don't know how this decision got. Maybe they just were like, I don't want to play that live anymore. So if it's on the album, people are going to expect it live.
Right.
That's a thing. But head scratcher. Okay. You like Joyride? It's good on the 12 string. Deer Creek this year had that on the 12 string.
I think it can be looked at in two different ways. It's because Joyride is such a banger as far as like musically, but then you have the lyrics that kind of separate it a little bit too.
Yeah.
But I love it in every way. I wish that I heard it more.
Yeah.
And he did play it this year many times. And so I'm excited that he's still pulling it out, because we're excited to hear it. I mean, a lot of us are really excited to hear it.
He's pulled back some lyrics from the Golden Gate Park Live Tracks 2 2004 version with it, which is pretty cool to have
Yeah.
gotten. That I was like, oh wow, that's because I remember being there at Deer Creek. I'm like, you talking about like shooting somebody at the beginning of this, and then somebody pointed out that like, hey, those look like the lyrics from Live Tracks too, and lo and behold, they're not identical, but they do suggest each other. So he's added that back to it, and he's playing it on a 12 string now, which he hadn't before. Which I think it's a fun song. It's yeah, I have no problem catching this one. I've caught it 4 times. I've caught it on twice getting liberated. And then yeah, I caught it at the Chicago Caravan 2011, caught it at Deer Creek in 2013, caught it at the Gorge in 2022, and then this year, and I think this year's the best one I ever heard of it. Like it was really good.
Right.
Um
Yeah.
because
So
he
good.
got his lyrics down, because sometimes it goes like
I mean, you gotta talk fast. You gotta talk fast.
yeah. So yeah, and then there's this little
I
song.
like the line. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
I
go
like
ahead.
the line, the money's clean because we scrub it good with
Guns and gasoline.
Yeah,
We're
gas
gonna
and
save the world.
I mean, how real can you get when you're
Yep.
talking? I mean, like
I mean, this is written during the
exactly,
Bush
Dave.
era. This is written
I
during the
see
George.
you sneaking
Yep.
this in, man, and
Yep.
I hear you.
Yeah. Yep.
But you made it in like a fun song that's like, woo!
Yep.
Woo!
Classic
You
Dave.
know?
Darkness and the joyous of things. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Most people don't know
I
what
like
they're
it.
singing.
No.
There's this little ditty, Trouble with You. Enjoyable little nothing to me. Definitely can see why this was cut. Like I know there's a lot of people around. Maybe people forgot it exists, but around the time there were some people, especially when Break For It debuted. They're like, oh, maybe he'll play Trouble with You finally. Never happened.
I've never, and I don't get to say this often, so thank you for schooling me.
Oh.
I have never heard of it.
Oh, never heard of Trouble with You. Okay, well,
No.
it's a little.
But now I have more
breezy thing.
homework.
It's a little breezy thing. I can send you the stand-up bonus disc if you don't have it.
Thank you. I don't.
Okay, I will send it to you. So then there's also a studio Mark and Carter jam, which is just Mark Batson and Carter jamming for a bit. Then there's live cuts. There's a recently from Derry in 2004, strong performance, but the jam after the solos where they go real fast, they cut out of that and go right to Pretty Pretty Girl. I'm like, that's kind of missing. There's a Crash Into Me from Camden 2004, which is a strong version, cool Stefan bass noodling in it. So I'm like, okay, that's why. Sometimes I'm like, why satellite on this? Like, it doesn't change, Like, I get that sometimes when they were making discs, we have like 3.5 minutes left. Well, it looks like Why I Am fits that. A song that doesn't vary, there's no variation, but it's like,
Right.
But now we don't have, but this is back in filling discs. But this one actually, there's some variance in this Crash Into Me performance. I'm like, okay, this is cool. Hello Again from Tampa 2004, which my go-to was Live Tracks 2 on this song, but that might change to this one. There's like an intensity building to the end that I'm just like, oh, why have I not gone back to this one more often? So
Yeah.
because some of these songs, like if they're not part of a full show, I don't get to them a lot on bonus discs, or you don't go back to them enough. But
Right.
And there's a Sugar Will from Gorge 2004. So they're acknowledging that, hey, this was a song that we were playing and didn't make the album. Here's a live cut of it. So that's telling me maybe they didn't record it in studio as well. I know they did record it with with Cavallo during Big Whiskey, because there's a clip of it. But yeah, maybe not with Batson. And then Typical Situation, Gorge 2004, smoking version with an awesome improv intro. That song's just majestic anytime you have it.
It is. It's what made me fall in love with this band. Literally, the song.
Oh, that's awesome. I like any night I get that, it's like, okay, what a show. So there's another, I have some stuff that I don't know, maybe got through trades or whatever, but there's an extended cut of Hello Again from the studio, and then a stand-up jam that's like 35 seconds. So that's all.
35 seconds. That's all they could give us.
Yes. So yeah, but I'll get you that stuff so you can hear that.
Please do. Yeah. I'm excited.
I decided that, can I make stand-up better? Can I shuffle these tracks? I came up with a track list, and I'm only going with stuff that's available. I'm not going with, I bet they recorded this, or this song I like better, this could go here. Only with what's available studio track-wise. So, I will tell you, I'll start with the bonus disc. I had Trouble with You goes away, and we don't know it ever existed. Bye. I put Smooth Rider on the bonus disc, and I
Okay.
put American Baby intro on the bonus disc, and I
Okay.
kept the Mark and Carter jam. So then I start the album, track 1, Joyride.
Okay. That's a
Track,
catcher from the beginning.
let's pump it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Track 2, American Baby.
Okay.
Track 3, Everybody Wake Up.
Mm-hmm.
And after all that, we're going to take it down to Steady As We Go
Okay. Slow it down.
and bring it back up again with Hello Again and then Bayou
Mm-hmm.
and Dream Girl.
Okay.
And then to be funny, because one's like a lovey-dovey, we're going to go the opposite with Hunger for the Great Light right after it.
Yes,
Just
I get it. We're all romantic now, and now let's talk about fucking.
Now let's get dirty. I followed the sweat down your spine all the way to, yeah. And then track 10, after Hunger, I have You Might Die Trying. Going into track 11, Stolen Away. Then 12, Stand Up, because I got to keep the album track. I thought about
You
cutting
do.
Stand Up, but I was like,
You can't.
got to keep the album track. And then ending it, like I said, on Out of My Hands. So that's my maybe improved version.
I do like it. I do feel like the flow makes more sense only
Yeah.
because of the knowledge I have now. But, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know what direction they had back then. But yeah, I think you should just create a playlist in that order and send it out as Brandon's mix of
Brandon's
your stand-up mix.
I'll make a
Brandon's stand-up.
CD with it, mail it out, old school.
Although I don't
blanket
have
postage.
any place to play a CD.
Oh.
Well, actually, no, I do. I have one, and it has a tape player and everything. So I'm proud. And a vinyl player. What do you call those things?
Records?
A record player.
Record player. Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, what? We've been through so many things. Walkmans, like we've been through a lot of different ways to listen to music. Oh my goodness.
Now I'm like lossless or get out, FLAC files. That's what I have. A lot of it. I have MP3s too from back before I did everything with FLAC. But yeah. So just want to mention the 2005 tour started in Australia before the album came out. They played American Baby and Hello Again on that tour. They debuted covers of Time of the Season, Blackbird, and Norwegian Wood that tour. Exodus got one play at the Weekend on the Rocks. The fall tour saw the return of Minarets. The summer tour, the big thing was number 34 came back. I'm told ticket sales were a bit down, and the band was told to do something to get people back in.
Do something crazy.
And
make
that's
them
why
come back.
That's why they played number 34 a good handful of times. Because that was like, whoa, I thought they'd never play that, because it was 93 before. The last time number 34 had been played was 1993 before, like, Under the Table, and that was a dedication kind of song. And the 93 ones are pretty cool. They have lyrics and stuff and a little bit more up tempo, but yeah. So there's that. There's tour releases from that. They have a whole Weekend of the Rocks box set, all 4 nights. You can get those. Live track 61 from Chula Vista, which 1 year off from my first show. So they released the wrong one there. Should have released 2006. And then recently, Live Track 70 SBC Park from San Francisco, which the bummer is they needed a bonus track for the legendary sound check that happened the night one. Have you ever heard that one?
I don't know. No, tell me.
Oh my God. Somebody recorded it outside stadium, and there's some wicked fucking jam going on. Everybody's like, what is this? This is amazing. And nothing's ever come of it. And then they were like, announced that this was going to be the release a couple months ago. Everybody's like, it's got to have that's the only reason they're releasing this. It's got that sound check. It's got to have, and then there's no sound check. And everybody wants a recording of whatever the fuck they were jamming out that night.
Yeah, just some more information.
Yeah.
That's all we're asking.
I'll send you a link to that, because it's just like, what is going on with this? So it's really cool. So that's, yeah. And they, press wise, they canceled a Saturday Night Live performance that year because they were playing Roseland Ballroom at the same time. They played American Baby on David Letterman. They also played it on the Today Show. And that's kind of the press they did with that, aside from behind the scenes videos, which we talked about earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. I think 2005 was such a solid year for them. Not only was there this album, but my favorite thing of 2005, just my personal choices, are the recordings from Red Rocks of 2005. I think they're the best recording from Red Rocks, and that can be whatever, that's my opinion. But what I think that they did in 2005 at Red Rocks was, it was just so damn clear. The way he enunciated everything almost perfectly, which is kind of rare for Dave, right? Like
Right.
there's usually like some like I don't know what he's saying for sure, but he enunciated everything so clearly and so perfectly, and they were so focused. And I wish that I could see them at Red Rocks. That will probably never happen, and I'm
Mhm.
okay with that. I understand the reasons why, but maybe Dave and Tim, like, come on, let's
Yeah.
maybe when they're 80, they'll just like go to Red Rocks and play, and I'll be like, hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Well, I'd do it. Yeah. I have a friend, my friend Torrance he went to the legendary night 3 where they got the Halloween and
Yes,
Butterfly. And yeah, but apparently it was hard as hell to get tickets to that thing that year.
I'm sure.
And you
I'm
just like,
sure.
I got one night, I guess I'll go to that, depending what night you got. The third or the fourth night got the only recently of the tour, and it got the Exodus. You got Everybody
Mhm.
Wake Up that night, which was hard to get. You got some guest spots and stuff like that too. But yeah, that Weekend on the Rocks was quite a popular thing.
Yeah,
It came with a
2005,
DVD.
man.
Came with a DVD with some live performances. So like final thoughts on Stand Up.
I think it's an album that you don't need to discount. I think that if you know, although, I hear what you're saying as far as this album has a lot of songs on it that don't sound finished, that aren't finished. But it's really hard to judge that now in 2025 when we know
Mm-hmm.
the progression of all of these songs. And so I feel like to give a really good answer, I would almost have to have listened to it in 2005 and give you my report then, because I'm so sure that it would have been very different. And the fact that I was definitely old enough in 2005 to find this album, it never it never came to me. So it's not an album that I studied a lot until later, until I
Mm-hmm.
had a decade in with this band. I was like, okay, I'm about to travel through time and try to figure this all out, which, by the way, a decade is not long enough to figure out this band.
I know.
There's just not
So
enough
there's
time.
still mystery. There's so much mystery with them, and it's
Yes.
crazy. I think that yeah, this album definitely. I think it's a bit of a ways finished as release, but I think this is the best example of how D&B songs improve live compared to studio. This is the most drastic
Yes.
version of that because you go back to
Yes.
the big three, and you're like, the studio tracks are awesome.
Yeah, they're so good.
Live is better, but these are some damn good studio tracks.
Yes.
This
Yes.
shows like them building songs. So if you want to
Mhm.
see progression and songs grow, this is probably the best example of that in their whole catalog.
Yes.
Because like I said, a lot of it there's like some unfinished stuff, but yeah, I think this is maybe the only album where I would say almost all the live versions really the studio versions pale in comparison to. But
Absolutely. I
that's my
100% agree with
that's
you.
my thought on that.
100%. I think this is my nerdy mind going, okay, this sounds like a girls' night where I invite my DMB girlfriends over and we get our paper out and we compare and contrast. We listen
Yeah.
to the album version of one song, then we listen to a current live version, and we're going to
Hmm.
write down our feelings of the change. Like, those are the things I'm like, this would be so much fun.
Happy to have you here for the slumber party. That's yeah, that I invited you to. Yep.
No one's sleeping because we are staying up and doing homework,
That's
right?
right. Yep.
But I know several of those girls that would be like, hell yeah, let's stay up and dissect this song all night long. And that's the girl I am. So I'm just excited to learn more because there's even more about this album that we don't know, that we will
Hmm.
learn from other people, and just with time as we see the band releasing more information because they're reflecting or whatever it
Yeah.
is. And so we're going to learn more. So this is not the end. But I think I've got a pretty good grasp on it. And I think it's really important, if you're not familiar with this album, to really look back before it and to look after it,
Yeah.
because it's important to understand kind of just why those sounds the way that they do.
Yeah. For sure. And I recently Blossom in 2024. I had a show with 4 stand-up songs in it, and it rocked. And I was like, okay. And I wouldn't have thought that for a
Yeah.
good number of years, but I was like, it just the way they placed them and the way they worked, I was like, this kind of works in the set like this. I'm kind of, granted, 2 of them were ones I hadn't seen in a long time, but it worked for me quite good.
I have to ask you a question. So
Oh,
we know that this year they released on vinyl "Where Are You Going?" the singles, and
yeah.
it was It was an album that they took one song from each of their albums and placed it onto one. So kind of like greatest hits, if you want to call it that.
Mhm.
Now, I don't know exactly who picked the songs. My guess is that I'd love for it to be the band that picked those songs
Mhm.
and that they would have more control than anyone else in order to pick a best of.
Mhm.
What was the track that they released for the stand-up album?
Wasn't it Dream Girl?
I don't know. I can't remember. I
So
have it. I
so
just don't have it with me.
I know American Baby is not on the vinyl version. It's on the digital
Mhm.
because I'm like, oh, of course. Of course they didn't put American Baby on there because he doesn't want to remind of it on a vinyl, like that's uh so I'm pretty sure it was Dream Girl that's on the vinyl.
That makes sense. It makes sense.
It is on the vinyl. It is Dream Girl.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, they only picked one song from Stand Up. They picked two from Busted Stuff. So the funny thing is they put When the World Ends on there from
hmm
Every Day instead of I Did It. And When the World Ends was a canceled single. Like that was supposed to come out in September of 2001. And 9/11 happened and they abandoned releasing Every Day as a single.
Yeah.
So it's seen its day in the sun being called one on this compilation. So when they did Best of What's Around Volume 1, the CD greatest hits,
Yeah.
from funny enough, they didn't put Dream Girl on it. They put Hunger for the Great Light
Hell
and
yeah, they did.
American Baby on that. So Hunger's a weird choice. It's weird what they picked
Mm.
on there. They didn't necessarily pick radio singles for that album. But yeah, so yeah, Dream Girl's the one represented on the vinyl. It's the only way you can get a stand-up song on vinyl. But
As of now.
I wonder if this fall they're going to give us a stand-up vinyl because it's like we're saying 20 years.
I don't know. I mean, it's the perfect time to do it, but with this band, you never know. I mean, we've already gotten so many vinyls, I feel like this year in 2025 already.
I
And
wanted an everyday one and a busted stuff one, but nope. They announced a Richmond DMV
true.
Live vinyl recently, so that's that. But I imagine maybe in the fall they'll give us a. They did release Live Track 70, which was obviously a nod to Stand Up being 20 years old this year. So
I think so.
there's that. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'll take Stand Up on vinyl. I buy all the DMB studio stuff. I don't buy all the live stuff on vinyl.
You can't.
That's a
It's too
whole
many.
nother. I have like the Deer Creek live tracks from 2000, and I have the Dave and Tim Luther College that on vinyl for my live ones, and then I have the little Record Store Day had this little like mini one from Dave and Tim Vegas that has Squirm and Lie in the Hands of God on it.
Oh yeah.
I have that one, but those are the
Yeah.
only.
I only have one live on vinyl, and it is very special to me. It
Okay.
was my third show, and if you'll remember where
Oh.
my third show was, ooh, this is a test for you.
Oh, what was
So
it?
Rogers, Arkansas, and then bam, where did we go?
You went to the Hollywood Bowl.
That's right, in
Oh, you okay?
2018.
So you
I
saw
was
When I'm
there.
Weary. You saw one of the 3 times it's played.
Dude, that concert melted my brain. They brought
Okay.
in like the symphony or the
Right.
orchestra or whoever. And of course it came out on vinyl, and
Mhm.
that was my husband's very first show. And so it just
Gotcha.
means so much to me. I love it. It's on my wall right back
Gotcha.
here.
That's awesome.
It's the only live one I have, but it means the most to me, like emotionally.
Yeah,
But
if
I'm a vinyl collector for sure.
The only representation I have of something I was at on vinyl is the Rhino's Choice Come Tomorrow release has Best of What's Around from Star Lake 2018. That's the only thing I've been to that's been on vinyl. I've been to a few live tracks and store releases and digital releases, but I haven't had a full show vinyl release from something I've been to. Because
Right.
my first live release of something I've been to was Wrigley, and then I have
It's like you hit the top of the top, right? At
Right.
the
well, the one I was very happy with was Vanderbilt 2009 when that got released as the warehouse membership show, because I had
Mhm.
asked for years about that one, and then then that YAM from that show got released on like a bonus disc for something. I'm like, does that mean that show's never gonna get fully released? Because it had Blue Water on it. It had like my first recently, and it had a great 2-step, and it was my wife and I's first show. That was my
Oh,
our first
yeah.
show with my wife, And then like someone said like, "Whoa, if you see those bonus tracks, sometimes that means that's like a show that's ready to go for release or something." And then when they released the live tracks from like Alpharetta, which was the next show, like as the live tracks, I was like, "Ah, man, they picked the wrong one." And then that following Warehouse renewal was that Vanderbilt, and I was like, "Oh, yes, thank you." Because
Finally.
the tape from that one sucked, and the taper will tell you that too, because they were like discouraging taping at that show, and because they did the security wasn't aware of it, and the guy like literally was like holding his taper thing. He didn't get a set
Yeah,
up a rig, and
right.
then it died on him during Watchtower, and he had to like pull a YouTube video audio, and he wasn't happy with his tape. I've talked to him, he wasn't happy with his tape either. But then that got released. I was like, yes, good recording.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
but yeah,
I'm gonna go back one more time to Where Are You Going, the singles,
yep,
the album from this year. So, and I'm just I feel like a proud mom, but also
okay,
it's because I have a podcast that is named this.
yeah,
But the song that they picked from Every Day was The Space
it's
Between.
between,
And when I
yep.
saw that, I was just like validated for what, in my head, it was like validation that like, hell yes, this is such an amazing song. And I named my podcast
Yeah,
right, and
like I said, that's in my wheelhouse of like the little cheesy ballads I like. That's a good. I mean,
Mhm.
and that one's it's got some cheesy into it, but I think it's a deeper song than people give credit for
Oh,
too.
it's so
Um,
much deeper.
I was there when the full band version returned, and that was awesome. It was the same night I
Mm.
saw Spoon with Brandy Carlisle for the first time, so I was already on cloud
Jeez.
nine. And
Yes.
he had done solo Space Betweens the year before, and he came out doing it solo, and then like he hit that first chorus, and then Carter went boom, and everybody was like, "What?
What
They're
is
doing it! They're doing
happening?
it!" So, and then now it's back on the baritone again, and it sounds really good on that. Like it's a cool song.
It
Yeah,
sounds so good.
it
It's
sounds
so
so good.
good.
I'll take that one
It's
at like any show. Like I do like that one.
I think they should play it at every song.
Every show.
No, they should
It
not.
was
Then
at Deer
everybody
it
will
was
be
at Deer
tired of
Creek
it.
this year. Deer Creek this
I
year had it, and
know.
I
It
was like,
was
all right.
so emotional just because now that I've been doing the show for 3 years, people know about it. And I'm so thankful because they understand that I'm documenting the fan life, and that's important to them
Mm-hmm.
too, right?
Yep.
I'm not important, but the story that we're writing is important. And so, because it's known that I have that podcast, like so many people will try to find me when that song comes on, and it's taken on a whole new life though, and a whole new meaning for me. And I think it's going to be one of those special, special songs. It's not my favorite song,
Mm-hmm.
which that's a hard thing to
Oh,
peg, but it is definitely one of my favorites.
Two Steps my number one.
Yeah,
That's where I go.
hands
Two Step.
down. Didn't even have to think about two
Nope.
step.
Two Step. It's always been, and I love the very long versions because that's what got me on that song. It's like
Yes.
this is an adventure every night. Like this is a
Yes.
wild thing. And then the short ones are okay too. But like when it went long and stuff, I'm just like, oh, this is like an odyssey. And just amazing intensity and just a good song.
Yes.
It's got Dave's little like seize the day type lyrics and things like that. And
Yes.
I love Two Step. I do.
Can you imagine? And I haven't ever really looked for this, but and you're sure this is happening, but like someone to not move when that song is playing seems
That's wild.
impossible to
Yeah, it
me
seems impossible. Yeah.
because
Because
it will just get in your bones and you're just going to start like moving for you don't even know why.
dude, the intro starts and then after that when it hits in, it's like da da da, and then you see like people are just like oh, and like the whole concourse, the aisles aren't safe anymore in the concourse. Like it's
Yeah,
nutty.
it's a
Yeah.
whole party, but
Anywhere
I'm
you
here for it.
go, anywhere you go,
We'll never
it's
be
a
tired of it just
yep.
because of the energy, right? The
Yeah.
energy is incredible.
Yeah, yeah, for real. Before we head out, I want to Gorge is coming up here.
Yes.
I'm probably dropping this on Wednesday, the 20th, before the band picks up again in California. Gorge predictions. We'll make it simple. What song from the DMB Almanac Liberation list, and if you need help, I can help, do you think they might pull out at the Gorge this year?
I don't even like to talk about it because I'll be pissed if they do because I'm not going to be there, right? I'll be on the
Yeah.
couch watching. It's so hard going, oh God, are they going to release something? Are they going to release? Because the Gorge is the place to do it because you have so
Uh-huh.
much opportunity. You can do like 70, 80 songs if you want to. Um,
Last year was Blackjack and Alligator Pie.
okay.
The year before there was a lot of covers. There was like Long Black Veil showed up, and Just Breathe debuted. But I can't remember. They debuted a bunch of stuff leading into Gorge that year, like Cry Freedom and Spoon, and those showed up there. 2022, when I was there, it was like Away from the World coming out party. We had If Only, The Riff, Drunken Soldier. They dropped Ehe there, and they did number 34 in Joyride. So that was a big, yeah, that was a good year at the Gorge.
Here's my prediction.
Okay.
And
I know Bella
it's
Fleck
just
is
because
there.
Bella
Fleck is there, but I think they'll put him on Last Stop and do that. But
I don't think Bella Fleck is going to help out for what I need.
Okay, here we go. Okay,
hey, I'm not saying that he can't. I'm just saying that like I can't imagine that. So the last time this song was played was 2013.
Oh.
And if you watch me on social media at all, I'm always talking about one song.
Okay.
One song that I need. And I mean, I tagged the band and all this shit. Like, please, what I want to happen for everyone else, because I won't be there. I really need for them to bring Crazy Easy back out. I really do.
Gosh, yeah.
I need it. I need it.
You know, in last year, they brought back Blackjack.
Yes.
And it found its way into the next tour a bit. And then they botched it really bad in Pine Knob, and it went back to the shelf. So, if Crazy Easy does drop the Gorge this year, maybe they have fun playing it, and it shows up next year because they're like, that was kind of rude. Maybe we should play it for everybody else on the other side of the country next year.
It's just so upsetting, and especially talking about the time frame we were tonight, 2004, 2005, because Crazy Easy was a song that they played in the summer tour of 2004, and so then last played in 2013. If you're not familiar with it, get familiar with it.
It's like one of the most DMB songs I've ever heard.
It's like, so good. It's so good.
Yeah. And it's a shame he just fell out of favor with it, but they're so weird with that stuff too.
I know, but I know there's a reason, and I'm cool with whatever the reason is. That's just my personal, I want that.
Yeah. I was done with shows in 2013 when it showed up, and then Kit Kat Jam showed up for 2 spots, and I was like, the hell? And I have an IEM recording of one of the show where Kit Kat Jam came back, and after playing it, they are ranting and raving at how much fun that was. That was awesome, blah, 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 blah. And they played it one more time, I was done. I was like, but didn't you guys love this? Like, what happened to you all? So, yeah, that was...
Do you know that... Okay, so 2013 was the last time they played it. Do you know where they played it?
Crazy Easy?
Yeah, in 2013, which was the last time it was played.
So they played... It was the Gorge was the last time they played it.
It was the fucking Gorge, right? Like, oh, the stars are aligning. Yeah. Like, it's going to happen. I know. If it happens, please know that I have put this into the universe, okay?
Because they busted
I have worked all year long.
They busted out in Alabama after West Palm Beach, which was weird. I'm like, you didn't want to, bust it out at West Palm Beach? You waited after Alabama? And then they played it in, North Carolina and, I think Virginia, and then Colorado and the Gorge. And why do I know this? I don't know. It's just in my head.
Because it's awesome information.
Yeah, it is awesome information. So that one, I'm going to go softer. I'm going to go softer on it. Okay. A song that I think people would be like, oh, but they're not going to be mad they missed it, which I think kind of fit the Gorge last year, where it was like, oh, Alligator Pie, cool. Or Blackjack, all right. But no one's cursing the Gorge for getting them. So I'm going to go with Belly Belly Nice. Okay. I'm gonna go with that because I think people are like, oh, okay. And some people who started going at a different time might be like, oh my gosh, White Whale, Belly Belly Nice. So
haven't I heard that Belly Belly Nice, and I haven't done my due diligence and research on this song, but isn't it a fairly naughty song as well?
Yep. It's another one of his songs. The Belly Jelly came out of that one. Lick your belly jelly to the kingdom come. So yeah. So yeah, I always like Belly Belly Nice. I thought it's a fun little I tend to, so in addition to the little pop ballads, I'm also big on the funk sounding songs.
Oh, yeah.
So it's weird because I wasn't the biggest fan of Can't Stop in the plotting version,
Mhm.
But when it got redone and was the way it is now, it made more sense to me lyrically and
Yeah.
stuff. Like, oh, those are like more like funk lyrics. That works, and it bops more. Crowds don't disperse. Like Charlottesville 2010 when he played "Can't Stop" at possibly what everybody thought was the last show till 2012, and they pulled that place cleared. It
What?
was
How
insane.
disrespectful.
It was insane. It was just, I think, and Dave got so like, "Can't Stop" was like a vengeance song for him because he was like, "You don't like this? I'm gonna make you like. I'm gonna keep playing
Yeah.
it, playing it, play."
Yep.
He has those songs, and then it happened again when they got really happy, and then all of a sudden he was playing shows where he's like, "This next one's gonna be your favorite," or "I don't care, I like." He's like, he knew it got back to him. People didn't like "Can't Stop," but like,
Oh,
yeah,
yes. They're all over social media. And even, God, that
yeah,
was a long time ago. But these dudes are doing their homework on what the fans are
yeah.
saying. Don't think that they don't know.
But like "Too Much," that's a song that hooked me. So any song that's going to bring me that "too much" kind of vibe, I'm going to be okay with. So, but like, yeah, Belly Belly Nice is in that realm. And yeah, like Rooftop can take a break and Belly Belly Nice can check in and, sub for it if they want, if they're going to pick it away from the world song. So I'm going to go with Belly Belly Nice, though I'm not sure. I'm just really weird. Like, they're in a weird spot where it's like we've got good things. They didn't debut as much as I thought they would this tour that wasn't played last year or the year before. But I'm fine with that. I said going into 2025, I'm okay with them running back the last couple of years because they've got a lot of good stuff going on and a lot of stuff that
Mhm.
just hasn't gotten around to everybody. So
Right.
I would be okay with them running it back again next year. I just really like the songs available now. Like, and it feels like anything can happen still. So
It can. Anything can
and
happen at a
there's years
Dave
where it's
Matthews
not.
Band
There's
show.
years where it's not like that. And during a lot of the 2010s, you could kind of predict shows a little bit easier. Right now, I like where they're at. I really like where
Mhm.
they're at with the song catalog. But yeah, so Gorge, always a good time for folks.
We'll see what happens, man.
Yeah, Bella Fleck.
I'm
The
gonna keep
Flecktones are
that
going to be
written
there.
down.
So yeah, Bella Fleck's going to be there. You're going to have
And
some awesome
Goose
guests.
and
Yeah, and
it's gonna
Goose is
be
there.
so good. It's gonna be such a great trip. And I've thought about it, but like, do you want to hear something crazy? Okay. I love the gorge. I
Hmm.
love the way it looks. I love the music. I love
Hmm.
the venue. Like, it's beautiful.
Hmm.
I do not want to camp. I do
Oh,
not
I
want to
don't.
travel to a hotel. I need a
Oh,
helicopter to drop me off and pick me back up and take me back to Seattle because
okay.
I'm not down for any of the roughing it part. I want people bringing me drinks. I want like the money that it takes to get to the
Yeah.
gorge. I need service. I
Oh,
need
okay.
service.
So I go. I like the word. I stay in Moses Lake. There's a great
Mhm.
breakfast joint there. Stay in Moses Lake because I'm not a camper. I need my air
No.
conditioning. I need showers. I need all
Yes.
that stuff. But we go to Moses Lake. We drive the gorge. We drive back at night. It's not too bad. We usually take like you're driving this night. You're driving this night, and I can time myself out pretty good where I'm good at the end of the night. Like I know how to
Pace
waver
it.
at the gorge, so I'm good to go. And we usually hang out after shows too to let traffic go down where those people are like, no hurry. There's nothing else to do
Yes,
here but go home and
exactly.
sleep.
You are in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. So I'm not bothered by that because when I go to Alpine, I stay in Racine. So I have a 30-minute drive there and back too. So
Yeah.
yeah. So that doesn't bug me too much.
Different things for different people. Once I
I guess
discovered
so.
Mexico, I was like, yes, this is
There
my
you go.
jam.
I would love to get to Mexico someday. That's not in my cart. And they keep playing it around my birthday now. And I'm like,
Oh yeah. They're
yeah,
calling you. They're like, we're
yeah.
trying to play your
Convince
songs, but you don't
convince
show
my
up.
wife that's a worthwhile trip to take
I can do that.
after all my
If you
gorge
can
thing.
give me 30 minutes and her phone number, I got you in, boy.
I'll try. I will try. I will try. But yeah. So yeah. So someday. Would have loved to go to that Montana solo stuff. I'm like, that
Dude,
ended up
me
being like super
too.
fucking cool.
Oh my God,
Uh,
so cool. And everyone was like in their Western wear. It was so different. Like
yeah.
it was so good.
Yeah.
But again, just we can't do it all. We have works and job, just work and our kids and our home and
Yeah.
the bills and the things that life doesn't stop.
Mhm.
But I'd love to be on the road with DMB like all the
Yeah,
time.
I do get really like excited. Like my kids come to shows sometimes. Like sometimes I take one of them with me if I'm traveling or something like that. And my son though this year Deer Creek Night 2, he like had a blast because he
Oh,
loves
good.
he loves minarets, And then he wanted, going into the show, he wanted JTR and Last Stop. And I was like, that doesn't happen very fucking often. And they got both that night
Dude,
and a lot of stuff. It was like, all right, man, happy for
you're
you.
traveling with me.
This
He's
is
like a good
good.
luck charm.
People call him Logan Magic because the first show we took him to Deer Creek Night 1 2018. That was a year where there was like a lot of stuff hadn't been played yet. Because they had a new formation of the band. We didn't know what was there was no violin player, so what songs maybe never get played again. And we took him, and he wanted to hear Pig so bad. It was like, well, Pig was the song. He wanted to hear Pig and again. That was like two of them that he's mentioned he wanted to hear, and of Halloween and Minarets. Those were I forget how old he was. It was 6. So he's talking to people that I know. They're like, oh, look, he brought us. I'm like, what do you want to hear? He's like, Pig, Minarets. They're like, whoa, okay, that's what you want to hear. They had never played Pig yet, and it was the second song in was the first Pig with Buddy Strong, where Rashawn did the trumpet, and everybody's like, whoa.
Oh,
They called him Logan Magic. That's what they called, and then they played again and again later. It was funny. When I took him to that CMAC show in the Finger Lakes in New York. He's sitting there with me. At this time, he was 10. And this guy's like, hey, this guy's the stoner guy. It's like, hey, little dude, what's going on? He's like, yeah. He's like, what are you looking to hear tonight, man? And he's like, I'd literally love to hear Minarets. And the guy's like, whoa, like, look, like, he's
Wasn't
like,
expecting
didn't expect that out of a kid.
Nope.
So, and the first time he heard Minarets was also the first time they faked Madman and debuted Minarets right there.
No way.
So like, he gets magical moments for his,
Okay.
Yeah.
You'll have to let me know where you're going so I can like go to and get some magic moments.
My friend Torrance told him at the tailgate after night 2, he's like, okay, so over the next year, I'm going to send you a song called Sleep to Dream Her. You really need to listen to it, fall in love with it, and want it at the next show that I'm here that you go to.
Man, that's a hard song to break down if you've never really paid attention to the lyrics. It's a tough song.
I lucked out.
Figure out.
I hope the D&B nerds listening to this are loving this conversation. I lucked out. I always looked at Hartford 2010 as this like awesome show I wish I would have been at, because there's so many bust outs, that songs you never thought were coming back all in one night. Busted Stuff and Kit Kat Jam back to back. Hello Again, JTR, Break For It came out of like, everybody had the sound check for that song, but no one ever thought it was going to happen.
Shit.
And then, so I was like always jealous of that show. And then 2018 tour, it was an album tour. I never put too much of a pedestal. That summer, I had some good shows that summer. I understand some people had some complaints in that summer, and deservedly so. There were some sets that could have got a little more special stuff in them, but they didn't. So I went to the tour opener in Columbus, Ohio. Not expecting much, just, hey, I'm getting to see another show.
Yes.
I got my Hartford 2010 there. I had the first You Never Know opener ever. Kill the King, which I would dreamed about, and finally I was like, what? Out of nowhere. Hadn't been played in like 7 years, only like a handful of times ever. And then we got the first Say Goodbye with Buddy Strong on it. Got Sweet Emotion that I never covered, I never thought I'd see again, into Minarets. And then Sleep to Dreamer was in that show. And I was like, what is going on tonight? And then Break Free was the E1 that show, which that had disappeared for a long time. It was the only play of that tour, or the only play, because it was in 2016, then it had one play in 2018, and then came back in like 2022. But it was just like, what is this night? Wow. Right. So yeah, right. So I love that Columbus show, and every time I go to Columbus, it's magical. So that's my best kept secret place, because the next time I went there, got the Broken Things Liberation, got the debut of Madman's Eyes, got Dive In Liberation. I see Dive In Liberate a lot. So if you want to go to shows with me, you'll catch the Liberation of Dive In. So and then last time I got my first Busted Stuff at Columbus in 2024. So every time they go to Columbus, I'm there because something happens. So
yeah, it's a cool place to be. I mean, I think anywhere in Ohio, is
Riverbend is. I've been there a lot. I've been to Riverbend a lot. But like, I don't know that there's a show. Well, no, 2016 Riverbend is my favorite Riverbend show, but they're usually pretty good. But like, I'm leaning more on Blossom now if I'm going to the outside places. But Columbus is what I call the Mecca for me right now. And I tell one of my friends, he's been to 208 shows. never caught Kill the King, went on that fall tour, went to Seville. They didn't play it at Seville. And I joke to him at tailgate every year. I'm like, have I told you the tale of Columbus 2018?
Like a pirate. Or told you the tale.
the fifth song of the night, he comes out and I'm like, oh, it's probably going to be Louisiana Bayou. And he strums and I'm like, this sounds like Kill the King. And they, like, I swear to you, the audience there, no clue what that song was.
Of course. You
and
could
if
tell, I'm sure.
If Dave was from the stage looking, it was a static audience, and this little guy bopping like shit over here. That's me in the corner, like, oh my God! Oh my God! Losing his fucking mind. So
I love those moments.
They were cheering by the end because it's an energetic song, but like, I lost my mind. I couldn't believe that. I also got recognized that night from my podcast paying in the parking garage. It's like, hey, are you? My show then was called Cinema Catholic. Are you the guy from Cult Cinema Catholic? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, cool, man. This is your show. I'm like, oh, that's nice. And my wife looked at me and goes, shut up. Don't. It was a good night. So anyway, but yeah, we're running pretty long here, but I have enjoyed the shit out of this. I hope people have enjoyed listening to this lengthy discussion of stand-up at 20.
I think it deserves it.
There you go. Yeah, it's definitely a good conversation one. Deserves some reappraisal of some of the songs because I think individually they do add value here and there. But in the meantime, Renae, where can people keep up with you and what you got currently going on?
Yeah, so we're on all the socials, of course, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, which if you want to see me do some stupid dances, because I'm down to do whatever. And TikTok is the place to embarrass yourself. So I'm good with that. So check it out. It's always Dave Matthews Band related. So we have a lot of fun on TikTok. We just opened up an email that's really easy. So if you're interested in finding out more about the show, or if you're interested in sharing your journey, it's just Renae. You have to remember my name at the Space Between Podcast, dmb.com. The show is on the road pretty soon. We've done several shows this year. And so we are going to finish it out, but finish it out the way I like, which is in California. I'm leaving California literally the day before everyone shows up to the gorge. And they're like, why aren't you just coming on up? I'm like, dude, they did it right here in California. I am living the great life and then I'm going back home. So we'll be at both shows in California. I've got all kinds of swag. If you're there, try to come find me. I'm not hard to miss usually at a show. Not hard. You look for the glasses of the day, which they're always a different color. So I like to throw people off. But I've got some really cool stickers for California, and we're excited about the tour starting back up, but also kind of ending.
Yeah, and maybe something in there. It's weird what the fall may bring or not bring at all. Like it's
who knows what's going to happen.
I've heard some solo stuff maybe, but
who knows?
I think it's pretty firm that no full band stuff in the fall, from what I've heard. So, I don't know.
We will see.
We can compare notes later.
It will be interesting. So definitely check out the podcast, The Space Between Podcast. It's available on all of the podcast apps, and also a YouTube channel just simply called The Space Between Podcast. So you can watch it as well.
All right, cool. All right, I'm on the socials at Brandon for KUHD. You can check out my YouTube channel where if you're listening right now, you could have watched us. I mean, if you
way more fun.
If not that your thing, that's fine. Also on the YouTube channel, I have other material like my 4K and Blu-ray reviews. I also will be at Doctoberfest this coming October. I don't know, doing some sort of media stuff for them like I normally do. I'm still negotiating stuff with that. So keep tuned for those announcements. Friday, the summer of 2015 music video series is back with another session. So yeah, come back for that. And until then, we talked about music, but my outro line is stay film positive, but you can stay music positive as well.
Hell yeah. Peace, love, and Dave Matthews Band.
There you go. Perfect.
Thank you for listening. The Brandon Peters Show is a Creative Zombie Studios production. Produced by Brad Shoemaker and Brandon Peters. Written and edited by Brandon Peters. Announcer vocals by Jessica Alsman. Theme song by Metavari. Web design and show art by Brad Shoemaker with Brandon Peters. All music and clips featured in the episode are property of their respective studios, and no infringement is intended. Additional information on this and other episodes at brandonpetershow.com. For any inquiries, press opportunities, or sponsorship, contact mail at brandonpetershow.com. The show is available on Apple Music, Spotify, or anywhere podcasts are found.